You just float around as this big fat thing covered in guns, blowing everything up. It's the way life should be.
So the living embodiment of the American military?
Yes, except piloted by a really, really deeply crazy individual. Me.
So the living
case.
embodiment of the American military?
Well, give me a minute.
Oh lord. Oh lord. Oh lord. All right. So
don't worry, the stream hasn't started yet. We're not getting
I don't know.
Wait a minute, I've got something to refute this. Give me 5 minutes.
Give him 5 minutes. Oh my gosh.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Y'all with my titles, oh my god, come on.
Once you switch to using slobs, you will have less of an issue, I think.
I know.
But it's a transition. It's a transition.
It's a slow transition. We'll get there, people.
Yep. Yep.
Well, no, it's podcast, so I just put that down.
Oh man. I played a little of the all Kamen Rider Generations 2 game.
I need to finish up in that.
Oh my gosh. That game is so much fun. It's a 2D beat 'em up where you just play as Kamen Riders.
And that sounds
from blank to blank.
From Showa to technically Wizard, although he's, I think, like special promotion code only or something.
Okay.
So
and from like the very beginning of Wizard, so it's literally just red form Wizard.
Okay, right. So from Ichigo to Forze,
yeah,
featuring Wizard. Gotcha.
With Wizard as a thing you can do, sort of, that is not featured at all. Okay. You can play as just about every second string.
Nice.
Though Ryuki's cast is kind of... I think it's just... I think it's Ryuki, Knight, Oja, and I want to say Zolda. I think that's it, though it might have...
Those four make sense.
Odin, I know, is in it as a boss, but I can't remember if he's playable. I know Eternal is playable. I know Skull is playable. Though Skull is very boring, unfortunately. He doesn't have a lot going for him.
Oh, I guess you didn't hear us. Kuzzong, what up, buddy?
We said hi when you first joined, Kuzzong.
I don't think you heard that, but...
Alright.
What up? Sorry, bro. Like, what's going on, man?
Alright, stream is up.
My bad. If you didn't hear me say it. My bad.
Yay, streams. Alright.
Now, what? Fuck, I forgot my intro. I can't believe I forgot the intro.
Hey everybody, it's Rider Week, but the servers for Climax Fighters suck, so we're doing Gundam.
Thank you. Shoot. Okay.
Believe me, we'd love to do Climax Fighters right now, but after last week's fiasco, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Well, free shows out today. Welcome to the Riders of the Grid podcast. Episode 57. What's going on? We got special guest making his return. Aru, buddy. What's up? Promote yourself.
Echo cut out for me, so I cannot hear what he's saying.
Hello.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah. So, before we really get into the greatness that is our discussion, we're gonna briefly discuss all the great new shenanigans, and we'll discuss Superhero Time next week just to give people more time.
Well, that's probably fine because I don't think any of the subs are out for Superhero Time this week. So I haven't seen
it. That works.
Yeah, unfortunate. Oh well.
So let's break it off with the news. It is the anniversary. The anniversary stuff. Ryder gave us some good stuff.
Yes, Ryder did. But before we do Ryder, because there's a lot of Ryder stuff that we've got, we do have, from what I recall, one little bit of Ultra news and then one little half thing of Sentai news. So, at least that's what I have on the list.
Alright, let's break it down.
Alright, so first, for the little bit of Ultra news, we got the reveal of Trigger. We got a silhouette and a piece of concept art. Well, not even a silhouette, but
We got a little bit of
shadowy
details.
picture. Yes.
And a lot of the details so far make it seem like it's a Tiga sequel.
Yeah, it's like a Tiga Dyna sequel. It ties in somehow to the TDG thing they're doing with Tiga, Dyna, and Gaia. It seems like that is kind of a warm-up to Trigger at this point.
Yeah.
I have no idea who any of those people are, so...
You will know, because you should have watched Gaia already.
I should have. I watched 2 episodes.
You did.
Then
You didn't even get to a ghoul. He didn't even get to a ghoul, and he was just like, nah, I'm done.
It didn't hold my interest, I'm sorry.
Right, because you didn't get to a ghoul.
Alright, fine. I'll remember that comment for later. Alright. Anyway. I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw the image, I couldn't tell them apart. So, there you go. That's all
The
I'm
one
gonna
that
say.
has more gribble is Trigger.
Good to know.
That's just a general. Not that you can tell, but I promise.
Oh, I'm having trouble right now, bro.
Yeah.
How'd that look?
So he's got like an arm thing, and maybe a breastplate of some kind. Yeah,
Oh,
I think it
okay.
is. Yeah, because it's got that rhomboid, pointy crystal thing, and
Big old diamonds.
The chest piece. My first gut reaction looked kind of like what's Taiga. Taiga's like maybe tristrian form thing.
Oh,
It looked
I
a
don't
little
know.
like that, but it's like kind of slimmed down and toned down. It doesn't have it as
No,
much as
Taiga, not Tiga. 2 different characters.
right,
2 different
right.
No,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
Just to be clear with everyone. So,
Oh, okay. Cool.
yes.
for people who don't know Ultra, and I barely know Ultra as it is, so. Alright, that is the one bit of Ultra thing we got. Yeah, and then the only really interesting thing in the Zenkaiser scans, from what I remember, is we got a silhouette for 2 Kaiser, who's doing a Gokaiser cosplay.
What it looks like.
Yes.
For those who are unaware of what Gokaiger looks like, unfortunately, I hate to say this, Super Mega Force, the Power Rangers.
They're the pirates.
Yeah, the Super Mega version of the Lord. That sounds terrible. Why?
Just say Gokaiser. Just say Gokaiser.
So that I'm telling,
Call them the Gokaisers.
I'm telling them what it
look.
I'm telling what it looks like, God. Oh my gosh, you.
But no, our 6th Ranger for Zenkaiser is going for the 35th team. So, we'll see what he does.
Yeah.
We also got, like, these, the dark towards the ears. I assume that's, just the equivalent of the good ones, except, evil. So,
Alright.
cool. I don't know if we'll get monsters based on it. That'll be neat. We'll see. Kind of like another Riders, but with some. We'll see what happens.
Also, there's a mecha fight.
A big old mecha fight with previous legendary mecha.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like anyway from the scans.
No,
I don't know for sure.
I think it was confirmed that they're gonna be facing off against the mecha that they represent.
That'd be
Or
cool.
that they're based off.
Because I love seeing some Gao King action. So
Yeah.
let's go.
I saw one standing next to the one from Zyuranger Daijuju. I have no idea
Yes,
if I'm pronouncing it
Daijuju.
correctly.
That is correct. You pronounced it. You pronounced it correctly.
Oh, good.
Congratulations.
You,
And I was like, oh, get hype. That's what they do, and that's neat. And
It is
Gao
very
looks pretty good. The silhouette coin gear cog thing version of Gao King looks almost exactly like Gao Gaigar's head. It's so weird. I'm like, I had no idea they looked so similar.
Yeah, no, I can totally see it. I am a fan of Gao Gaigar.
Oh, you are?
Oh.
Yeah, I know Gao Gaigar.
I had no idea you knew Gao Gaigar. Why are we talking about this? Why don't we talk about this?
So
we can't do it today, but eventually.
I'm gonna need to know Gao
Gaigar.
The King of Braves.
I'm gonna need to know that.
He has a
Heavenly
Golbeon
Nail,
hammer.
Right? Heavenly Nail?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Hell and oh heaven. Heavenly. Yeah, it was the Heavenly Nail and the Hell Hammer, right?
I believe so.
Hikari Didare! Voiced by the guy who would. He's in everything. He's in absolutely everything. I can't even name what he's in. He's in everything.
Alright.
I'm trying to get him off here. I'm sorry.
Alright. So with that little bit of Sentai stuff out of the way, we move on to Rider.
I think they revealed a
lot
human
of Rider.
form of one of the villains.
The villain, Stacy.
Yeah.
Yes, the name is Stacy.
Nice.
I don't know if there's any strange pronunciation with that, but his name is Stacy. He looks like from Shio. So, I don't know what he does. He's just kind of there right now.
Probably, definitely.
That's good.
That's evil life. But let's move along. Right along.
Alright, and then we get to the Rider news. We got a lot of Rider stuff this week, because we also got the scans earlier this week.
Yep. Bet that.
So we'll start with the scans before we move into the big reveals from later.
Yes.
So the scans, the only real significant thing we saw that was new is Blade's final form.
If it's final.
Hyogju, what?
I said if it's final, because they may give him another one. Like
It seems like his final form. What is he called? Hyogju Lion?
yeah, he's a white knight with a lion helmet.
He looks very nice.
Looks like he's straight out of Monster Hunter.
Yep. He has hair.
He got the Frostfang Barrier armor.
He has an entire mane, not just hair. He has a mane.
He has long hair.
Long hair don't care club.
Long hair out to there.
Long hair don't care.
Yeah. It's
Looking remarkably clean.
It
It is
At
not
least
covered
we-
in gribble. I'm very happy about
Yes. And we finally have the ice powers. I've been waiting for the ice powers forever. I thought it was going to be Last Sword, but no, apparently Blades is just going to get ice powers.
Also, if
I guess that makes sense because he's the water one. Well,
That
wait,
is
no, he's kind of the water one. Anyway, now we have a time water one.
No, we had
Also-
just one water one.
apparently,
He has a book about ocean life, but that does not mean he controls water. Two very different things.
Right, if you insist, I suppose that makes sense.
I do insist!
I guess
good
he's
old
just a
story.
Darius reference. Oh, they
Also,
did time travel. That's the Bido.
let me see,
Bido
what's
time
it?
travel.
Tategami Hyoju Senki. There we go. That's the full name of the book.
yeah. Also, he has that one ability. Apparently, he can summon the spirits of others.
Apparently, his primary ability is summoning the spirits of past swordsmen from the Northern Base. Which, that sounds absurdly broken.
It sounds pretty final bossy to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back
But
off, Nico, I got it.
that's just a rumor. We don't actually know for sure. Or, I don't know if it was in...
It was in the
haven't
scans.
seen
It was in the scans.
We haven't seen it in action, so...
Yeah, but
Give him an excuse to use the suits again.
yep.
That is true. The other thing that appeared in that we got a good look finally in the scans is Durandal, our new writer that we got in this episode. I'm not going to comment too much on the episode, but we got Durandal. We got his name of his sword, Jikokuken Kaiji, the Time Sword, and his book Ocean History.
I'm gonna need. That's probably why they just like, all right, we need something history. All right, let's throw the ocean in there. Okay.
Because he's evil, probably.
He is right now. He's evil. The name of the sword itself is Jikokuken Taiji. That is the name of the sword. That's the name of the sword. It's a sword that he can take out the blade, flip it around, and stick it back into the handle, and now it's a trident. If you haven't seen it, it is actually a really neat sword.
Was that all? That is a name.
That is a name.
That's a heck of a name for a time sword.
It is indeed a name. I will comment though, we did see the episode. Durandal did premiere in this week's episode of Superhero Time. Again, subs are announced. I'm not going to comment too much. But we did see his henshin and fight. I do really like his henshin and how it sounds. He has like like a submarine alarm going off when he's during his standby phase. Yes,
that's kind of cool.
And it's like a sonar too. He has like a sonar and a submarine thing going on.
Okay.
Even though he's not the water rider, but whatever. And yes, because of ocean history. But here's the thing. He didn't use any time powers. He had his main power was teleportation. He was able to teleport himself around, and he was also able to teleport other things and people.
Oh, so he was just screwing around with time and space, like
mostly space, not necessarily time. He didn't time travel or anything once.
Speaking kind of the same thing.
I know.
Because if you can move matter instantaneously from one position to another, you might as well be traveling through time at that point.
Yeah, just not really.
I'm not arguing with you on the metaphysics there, but I'm just saying it didn't seem too broken from what it would initially lead you to believe.
Right.
Like he's not like stopping time or going backwards, going forwards, whatever.
Well, if he starts bringing dead people back to life, and he's like, "Yo, you're fighting."
That's what
now
Blades
for like
is
5
supposed
minutes.
to be doing. That's what Blades is
doing. Oh, never mind.
Yes.
So he's not like timing.
Kinda, yeah.
I was gonna say, I was gonna start off this by saying, rise from your grave, but Aru already did Altered Beast months ago, so I can't make that joke.
That was a fun stream, though.
It was a good stream. That game is just as hard as I remember it.
Oh, fun.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, dude, that was...
Oh, God.
No thanks. I went and I did... a couple years back, I replayed the PSP, Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, whichever one it was. And I was like, oh my god, I can't play these games anymore. I was able to get through one loop, and then it's like, oh yeah, you have to actually do the rest of the game, which is the same thing again, only 3 times as hard. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm calling it. It took me days. It's just life's too short. There we go.
Aru was going through, man.
What did they change in the difficulties? Is it more enemies, or... Oh god. Because that game got crowded anyway.
Oh, I couldn't get out that corner.
We have more KamenRider news.
Yes, we do.
But just my final thoughts on Durandal. If all he does for the rest of the show is just teleport it, I'm fine. As long as he doesn't actually time travel and stuff, then I'm gonna have some more issues. But until that thing happens,
narrative-wise, that never ends well. Because it's like,
exactly.
well, why didn't you just do this from the beginning? It makes no sense.
Exactly. Alright, so that's my final thoughts on Saber for now. Unfortunately, subs are out, so no superhero time. Oh well. Anyway, do we get to the big news that all dropped this weekend? The first little bit that actually dropped on April Fool's Day, I'm pretty sure. We're getting KamenRider Gems. We're getting Gem versus Fowler.
And Bowser.
X8 and 01 crossover.
Basically,
Let's go.
Silver and Dunn dream collaboration happened.
I know, it's awesome.
The CEOs
I mean, I'm
will
not
be
arguing
fighting.
with
The CEOs.
Yes.
will be fighting. And Bowser's gonna be in the black outfit this time. So
Which is, I have to comment on that. Did they only have one Bowser suit that they repainted black for the thing, and now they can't get it back to gold? Because that's kind of stupid.
Maybe, but isn't that like what he got demoted to anyway, was using the black suit? As of like one of the movies?
I thought it was.
I think that was, from my recall, that was supposed to be just a different character using a black.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Then they probably only had the one suit, which is
Hilarious.
kind of an unforced error.
Yes.
Oh no, it tentacle groped me. I don't like that. Stop.
Here's the interesting thing about the crossover is that Gem, from the little trailer we got, it's like Gem pops out of Guy. So Dan Kuroto is inside. Gem is inside Bowser because he's a bugster and all. So Guy got infected with the Gem virus. That's what happened.
How did he allow that to occur?
I don't know, but
I believe it's gotta be his dog. It's like a bad firmware update on the dog.
But no,
He was like, I want to make him more lifelike. Well, that was a mistake.
What if this is just like some crazy thing to explain all of Guy's actions? He just got infected with the Gem virus.
Oh no, I don't want him to have that kind of justification.
That would no, because that's
like his character motivations are already awful. Giving him like that kind of a moral
I'm not
out
arguing
is...
that. I'm not. It was just a funny thought I had.
Dunn, you're scaring the people. Don't do that.
But no, but we all saw the episode where Bowser was really trying to channel his inner Gem. We all saw that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. He was just infected by Dan Kuroto.
That'd be such a terrible out. That would be a terrible out.
I know. I don't think that's what's actually going to happen.
That
but,
would honestly ruin good
it was just a thought I had. All right.
No, I agree. I get you. I was just saying if like that actually came to pass as a thing, that might drop down 0-1 for me.
I would 100% agree with that. I 100% agree. All right. But that is that. Now we get to the big free announcements that we got. Or do we want to do the Tokusatsu stuff?
We can do the big three stuff.
Alright,
the big three announcements.
Announcement number 1. Double Futo PIs is getting an anime.
Basically,
the sequel manga to Kamen Rider Double is getting an anime.
And
holy shit.
So for Funimation. Funimation is... Yeah!
Yes.
Right? I didn't expect it. And now people are so hyped. They're like, alright, I want a voice act for this. How do I do it? It's great. Craig had one.
And I'm going to be honest, of the big three, this is probably the one I'm the most excited for, just because I know Double better than the other two.
Oh no.
I suppose, but...
So there's a double
but
timeline
also,
that leads to this. It's related, but kind of not. So I'm gonna be real quick on this. We have for people who want to know why we're getting a sequel anime to it. The storyline for Double's like this: you got Show, the Double Show. You have A to Z, the Gaia Memory, that movie, which we do have for 24 hours. Thanks, Toei. You give it to us for 24 hours.
It will be coming. I'll mention that a little bit later.
So you have that movie. That movie counts. Then you have the Double and O's movie, the crossover movie. The reason why that counts,
one of the movie wars, yeah.
Yes, it was movie war core. The reason that counts is because one of the characters gets married. Not saying who, but one of the characters does get married, so it takes place after that, and after the Mega Max movie too.
They'll do their best to make it not to catch everyone up to speed immediately.
Yeah, how I feel, they'll probably like recap some stuff, so people are aware of like all this type of stuff. There may be a flashback episode at some point, you know, like a little fillery thing, just to catch people up. But
have you guys read Fruitopia Eyes? I personally haven't. So.
I have, and it's good, but you kind of do need to know.
Okay, so you do kind of. Okay.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, how'd they get this power, or like, who's that character type thing. So you'll need to know just to get a little bit of the background, because they mentioned things that happened after the show and the movies and stuff.
Okay,
so,
I'm personally pretty high. Because let's be real here, anime is a lot bigger here in the West than Toku is right now.
And by the West, we mean the U.S. right now, because I don't think the Europe, or like our friends in Europe, are gonna get anything, which kind of sucks.
Well, they get anime though, right?
Yeah, but not
we
as
don't
much
know if we're getting any of this. Because localization is.
Yeah.
Well, Funimation's doing it, so we're gonna get the double anime.
It's
for sure.
very likely that Europe's gonna get most of this. I'm not worried, but there's always the off chance that they won't, which would be a huge bummer. But
yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, this is going to expose a lot of people to Kamen Rider.
Oh, yeah.
We're already aware, so that's one of the big reasons I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, so, like, I definitely would recommend watching Double. It's one of those series, like, every Rider series is, like, self-contained, but it's one of those that's, like, it's a good starting point.
Yeah, no, I 100%. Alright, so that's the first of the big three projects. Project number 2, Kamen Rider Black Sun. A reboot, apparently, of the original Black.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's gonna really discount that. Like that every set.
Oh no, I don't. I think it's probably gonna be similar to Amazon's.
Yeah, I feel like it's just gonna be like a more modern take. Black.
Yeah.
What I'm kind of expecting at this point is maybe them doing the Black manga storyline.
That would be nice, actually.
Which is basically Zio, honestly, except
without
slightly less time traveling.
Oh, okay.
What's cool about this is that the official things all have like English versions. New series.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
Scheduled for launch in spring.
I just
sat there and took it. I was really dumb.
I just hit him.
We'll get it next time.
Yeah, we got this.
But yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in this one. We have no footage for any of this, obviously, but
yeah, it's all just promo. Like, here's the thing we're going to do. Is it going to be live action or an animated thing? I'm not sure.
I think it's live action.
It definitely sounds like it's going to be live action.
Okay, sick.
But if it was an anime, like, kind of reboot for Black, I wouldn't mind that either.
Directed by Kazuya Shiraishi.
Familiar name, but I couldn't tell
and then,
known for hit films including Shio and The Blood of Wolves. Inspired by Black, released, will adopt the protecting homie Alright, so we will see what happens here. They say reboot, so it probably won't have anything to do with the original Black. Probably not. We'll just have to see that.
Yeah.
Alright. And our third and final project, Shin Kamen Rider.
Yep.
We got Shin Ultraman, Shin Godzilla.
Shin Kamen Rider. By Hideki Anno. Dude is a huge Toku fan, though. I'm glad he's free from Evangelion.
He's an ultra fan, so this does have to be noted.
Okay.
He is not on record as saying he dislikes Kamen Rider, but he's on record as saying he's very much an ultra fan from back in the day. So I do not know how this is going to turn out.
He agreed to do it, so...
Well, because money. Money is good.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, because he's finally free from Ava.
He's never going to be free of that.
No, we're gonna make sure he's free from Evangelion.
He is not free of that. That is way too big a money-making engine. People are gonna get that thing is a black hole, dude.
We gotta let him be finished. Let him be finished, people. Let him do Toku. He wants to.
And this is the farthest out. This is scheduled to come out March 2023.
Ooh.
So we gotta wait like 2 years.
I mean, Shin Ultraman isn't out until probably like next year at this rate.
Yeah.
There was a Kamen Rider Shin.
Yes,
Funny
there was.
you should say that.
Brad, give him the history, boy.
There is a movie from the 90s, Kamen Rider Shin.
Yes.
It's completely different. I believe it was supposed to be kind of a more horror take on the original Kamen Rider, from what I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
working with a
wrong.
lot of the themes that it's got a lot working with a lot of the themes that were popping up around Kamen Rider Black into Zeto, into J. Where kind of a more biological, his body is turning into this thing, as opposed to he's going
He's a cyborg
and turning into and being a cyborg.
Yeah.
So kind of that it's taking that kind of to the further logical conclusion, which is he turns into this bug human hybrid monster, very much like Kamen Rider Black, the original, and then the manga, and then to a lesser extent the show.
Yeah, the show is
So it's
definitely
pretty-
goes for a more suit look.
Yeah, it's sort of like, like you have those darkened scenes in the beginning when he's first transforming, and it's like this weird cricket monster thing, and it is kind of weird, but it's also totally cool.
No, it is.
I guess they keep the
a
suit
weird
in
monster
good condition.
one.
I guess they must keep the suit in good condition, or they have backup suits that are in good condition. I don't know.
I will say, Ari, that you can watch this one with English subs.
Yeah, that's true. That one.
Yes,
Yes,
on Toei-
Gene, Zeto, and J all got official releases
on Toei's Tokusatsu
Toei's
World.
official YouTube channel.
Yep.
Like
So,
last week or the week before. Yeah.
They've been doing the first 2 episodes of all with whatever's in their catalog, especially Rider because the anniversary. So it's you get the first 2 to get a taste, and then it's just I kind of want the rest of the show though. For real.
Yeah.
But,
Here's the I think they're doing what they're gonna do with Kamen Rider is they're just gonna stick with the first 2 episodes on Toei Tokusatsu Network, and then they're either gonna partner with Tokusatsu for the rest of the series, or they're just because I don't think they're gonna release any of the Kamen Rider series in their entirety on the YouTube channel.
they got most
I'm
of
sorry,
the
I just
shows
don't see
in the
that.
entirety.
But the thing is, those aren't Kamen
Sentai
Rider.
too.
Do they have the full seasons of Sentai?
Yeah, but they're regionalized.
Obviously, we can't get them because Asgard. Alright.
We'll let that one rock. But yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah,
to
there's
finish up, Shin.
yeah, because they have the Rurouni Kenshin movies too, and the main actor for Kenshin is also a Kamen Rider actor. He plays Kamen Rider Den, the main writer. Well, I think that's pretty cool. But,
He's an immensely talented individual. Didn't he just start his own acting agency?
Yep.
With some other person who I didn't recognize offhand.
Yeah, they're totally. Yeah, it's on there, Kuzzong. No doubt, they're actually on there. So like I kind of agree with Art on that. Like it may be a slow start, but they're probably gonna make it like accessible a little easier. It's just gonna take some time.
But speaking of that, we get the rest. Speaking of Tokusatsu Toei World, we're getting free movies this week.
They will be available for 24 hours. So get your enjoyment out of them when you can. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that they're only for a limited time, but you know.
Yep. So
that's just how it is.
Our first one is
all together 7 Kamen Riders.
The show.
That's our show era movie.
Yep.
Our second one, Kamen Rider Double Forever, A to Z, The Gaia Memories of Fate. That's our Heisei one.
I'm surprised at that one only because I thought they would do like a crossover movie that represents Heisei better. You know, like
we already got Heisei Generations Forever.
True.
So,
but like,
and I think they also did it to tie into the double announcements.
That makes sense, but like, no, see, it makes sense. I'm not saying that it don't make sense in that way, but it's like, huh. You know, that's all I can say to that.
Because they don't have all of Double,
right?
Which, you know,
so watching that is gonna like spoil some of the plot. Like, oh, but you won't know how they got there. You just be like, oh, so this, and this is here. Okay. Huh.
Yeah. And then our last one is Kamen Rider Reiwa, the first generation, the Shio 01 crossover movie.
Right, so like that's another thing. Like they have 2 crossovers, and then the double movie, which has a cameo, and that's about it.
Yes.
So like I'm like, oh, Dr. Pack, we're not going in Mega Max or Dr. Pack or anything. We're just gonna do that. All right, cool. You know, doubles well loved. Why not? I'm glad it's not the O's and Deno movie.
That's true. The first one, it will be released tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, they're gonna cycle
7
through
p.m.
them.
my time.
So
and then the next one will be the day after, and then the other one will be the day after.
Yeah.
And then I assume just 24 hours. Yep. There's your chance to watch it, and if you don't, well, too bad.
It kind of sucks, but that's how Toei's treated. Like, oh, you missed your chance. I'm like, dang, Toei.
Yeah, Toei's definitely still being protective of.
I understand that, but like, I hate to say it, but we kind of have ways to watch it already, Toei. Might as well just like.
I know. I'm not
gonna say how, Toei. Just. Oh God, right through me.
I'm sure Toei's got to know that it exists. Like,
yeah. Like, I think low-key they're like, when the fans talk to the actors, like, Toei's like, so how do you guys watch? I'm curious. And then everybody's like,
look, we
definitely
love
imported it.
Toei, we would love to give you our money. Please let us give you our money. Directly, please. Look, if Toei Tokusatsu Fan Club was a thing here in the West, I would 100% be subscribed to that.
Oh yeah,
100%.
No doubt. If that was like a streaming service that they did, I'd be like, you know what?
It is a streaming service in Japan, and I want it here.
Oh, Toei.
I know.
Toei. That's all I can say.
For Kamen Rider?
For Kamen Rider? Nah, because Saban...
I do not believe so.
The Saban thing
is
was
not a Harmony Gold or a
Saban.
Hasbro or Saban situation. As far as I know, I do not believe Haim Saban or a Saban Interactive has the rights to.
Agree.
I do not think they have the rights to.
Like what the heck?
Even though they did Masked Rider.
Yeah,
they did. I don't think they kept Masked Rider though. They don't. I do not believe they kept Masked Rider.
Well, companies like that never let go of anything. Like Disney never lets go of anything.
I mean,
in terms of like their
Disney let go of
sibling
Power
series.
Rangers, so.
Well, Disney, because Disney wanted to monopolize Mighty Morphin, and that wasn't part of the total
I'm
deal.
just saying. I'm just.
Oh no, I'm
just stating an example.
I was just like going to
Yeah.
yeah, no, or like it's not like their sibling series Super Sentai, where like Hasbro has the rights for distribution on it.
Super Sentai was unfortunately bastardized into Power Rangers, and we'll never get a solid Super Sentai release ever again. It was a miracle that we got the Super Sentai release.
For Super Sentai, we got Jetman up to Hurricanes, I believe.
Yes.
And then
Shao Factory made a deal with Saban back when Saban, right before Saban sold the rights to Hasbro.
Yep.
We got physical releases for those series. They were going to keep going, but Hasbro, once they got the rights, they put a stop to it. As far as we know, that's what happened.
Yep. So
if anyone who knows more of these discussions wants to comment, please. But
like inform, we would love to know.
Yes, and if you want to just keep coming out, because Hasbro's not doing anything with the Super Sentai footage, so. Well, I mean the past Legacy footage. I'm not talking about obviously.
I got you. Like the actual. What?
Like they're not doing anything with Abba Rangers, so come on. That was supposed to. Well, no, next I believe it's going to be 5. We're going to do one fast.
Yeah.
I seem to recall that being discussed at some point. I don't know how far we got. Probably not very.
And then unfortunately they had to drop it.
Yeah. All right. So
but
moving right along to our next bit of
to Tokusatsu, even though they can't do any more Sentais.
Dunn, that's a big one, so let me drop this one real quick.
Oh, there was something I'm missing?
Yeah, for our toy collectors. We're getting the original CSM.
We're getting a CSM Typhoon.
Of the original Kamen Rider belt.
The original Kamen Rider's belts. Yep. The Typhoon. Yeah, you're right. That's a point. I should have mentioned it. But yes, we're getting a CSM of the Typhoon. So I don't know what else they could possibly put in it, but hey, we'll see how it goes.
They don't need to put anything else into it. It's just, hey, you want a henshin like the original writer?
What if it actually is like?
Oh, CSMs are very expensive because they're like cosplay items, but they're like.
But here's the thing: it is the Typhoon. It is the Typhoon, which is the simplest of Kamen Rider belts.
Yeah, well, like most CSMs they have a lot of
this
attachments.
One has an actual whirligig in it that goes.
I'm not gonna lie, that was actually a really good sound effect. That was a really good sound effect, Frag. That was really good.
Dude was on like that. I think that was actually how it went the show. Frag, did you work on that? Did you work on the show and not tell me? Like one man is here, okay.
Here's the thing: if it actually works like it does in the show, wherein you're like riding, you like get on a bike and you drive through and it starts spinning while you're on the bike, then I can see it being super expensive. But otherwise, I don't know.
I feel like it is because of the fact it's a 50th anniversary joint, so they're trying to like try to get as much money out of it as they can,
So wait, they're selling bikes now? You need a bike to get the full functionality out of it?
Hold on, Dan. Hold on. What were you saying? Right. Right.
Yes.
Right.
You are correct. This is the ultra premium category, just so you know. 100%.
Oh man. Toei, look, come on. Like the Blade CSM, the double CSM, the old CSM, like there's a bunch that I do like and would totally get, but
but they are really expensive.
I am not going to go into hawk up to my eyeballs for it. I'm sorry.
Right. It's like a couple hundred, like 400.
I'm the collector here, and I don't get the CSM, so yeah.
Like I'm waiting for that one CSM where it's just like, all right, I really do need you. Like I'm currently trying to get all the ride watches for Geo, and like I would. I think it would be Geo's belt, man. I really do, because I just love the ride watch. I love that gimmick. It's one of my favorite gimmicks in like the franchise. That and
for me,
because the medals.
But we did get an OCS.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was like, I didn't have a job at that point, so I couldn't do it. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Moving right along. I'm sorry. Got us a little off track there.
There we go, I'm back. Sorry about that, my controller died. Alright.
That's all good. We're on the, Tokusatsu.
Ah, yes. Okay, fine. Give me a quick second to fix my controllers. Nah, stop it.
You got it? You get?
Almost.
Okay.
Okay. So, for Tokusatsu, we got some big drops for Tokusatsu. Finally. After all this time, this is what they've been doing. For one, we are getting Ryuki. For two, we are getting 01 for free. 01 is getting physical releases.
Yep.
Huzzah!
And that's it.
Wait, there was something else? Was there? Those are the big three.
Yeah, that was it. It was a KamenRiderEcho, and if you want to know what that is, we did get it here. It's called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. It was their adaptation of the Ryuki game.
It's actually a pretty interesting adaptation. Like, it's similar but different.
Yep.
Here's
the
the thing that
differences
surprised...
actually, I think, work really well.
Quick note on Dragon Knight. Here's the thing that I was browsing the Kamen Rider official website, and they actually list Dragon Knight as a official thing.
Nice.
Oh, no kidding. That's very
Yeah,
good.
in like the Kamen Rider chronology, you can scroll over the list and it'll say like 2009 Dragon Knight. It's right there, overseas. Pretty neat. And to also note, Masked Rider is not on there.
That's how you know they didn't like it. Like,
I blame Furbus.
Dragon Knight is, Masked Rider is not. Alright, anyway.
There's
GG Echo.
the Stephen J. Ford, I think his name is the main actor for Dragon Knight. He played the adaptation version of Ryuki.
Yes.
That's his name, right? He's the guy. Or did you hear about the Jimmy Woo spin-off show that people wanted, and Marvel was like, maybe we'll think about it? That was him. He's the one who's like, yo, we should have an X-Files Marvel joint with Jimmy Woo and the Agents of Atlas. That was him. He was the one pitching that idea around. It was pretty cool.
Alright, just to give a little more details on the Shio Factory stuff. The Ryuki subs, according to them, are pretty much done already. They just need to press play or do some small work on the file. So we should be getting Ryuki pretty soon. And then apparently 01, that deal like just went through. So it'll take a while for us to get it. So and then after that, it'll take a longer to get some. It'll take longer to get some physical releases. So
I will say, it makes sense to have 01 because you have the first writers of each era. You got the original, you have Kuga, and now 01.
Yes. As a reminder, the Shio Factory previously only had Kamen Rider, the original series, and Kamen Rider Kuga, the first of the Heisei era.
And with 01 being the first of the Railway era, it works out. And Ryuki's pretty
good.
popular, so I'm glad.
And I think another significant thing is 01 was the last series. Like, there isn't any buffer between 01 and Saber. 01 was the latest fully completed series. So, I feel like that deserves some recognition here. Like,
heck yeah.
We are getting it right after it finishes in Japan, pretty much.
Yep. Honestly,
That
I think
is
that's
really
a good
cool.
thing. I think that's a good
Yeah.
thing.
And
It
I'm
probably
hoping-
won't be out for like another half a year at the earliest, so it'll be like one
I mean,
series
yes.
behind. But that's still phenomenal.
Yes, exactly. If they keep it up and Saber comes out like next, if they want to keep doing getting the latest series out while they're working on the past series, I'm perfectly happy with that.
I also feel
Again,
like they're
I
probably
can't
just gonna
confirm
pick at
anything.
random after this. I think their main goal was to get the first Showa, the first Heisei, and the first Reiwa out, and now they're just gonna pick and choose at random, depending on what gets the most views on
I
their
think there is a
channel.
lot of like they said a lot of like fan voting, fan requests were a big part of choosing.
Ah,
Because
okay.
I do imagine seeing a lot of people asking for Ryuki. So
Yeah, Ryuki was pretty popular.
Ryuki, and also since Ryuki did also get overseas originally, I imagine it was probably easier to convince Toei to bring it over as well.
True, they do have Dragon Knight in their listings. Unlike
Yeah, they
you,
did.
Max Rider.
Yeah, exactly.
Freaking man really walked into the school. I'm looking for Max Rider. Oh my god. Saban, why? Alright, moving along. Dunn, there's also a thing with the figures. They had that little mini movie for the Rider figures starting from Ichigo all the way to Saber.
Oh,
Were they
was that a
figure
thing?
arts?
Like-
Yeah, were they figure arts?
SH Figure Arts.
Yeah, they were. That's another thing that they were doing. All the figures of so far the main riders. Ichigo.
They're like getting a little like stop motion movie. Is that what they're doing, or?
I think that movie, that little stop motion thing, was just to promote that they're doing the thing with the figures.
Oh, they're doing like releases of SH Figure Arts.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. I personally do not collect the SH Figure Arts. I collect the figure reses, but you know.
Right. But I think that's a cool thing. You get.
But hey, if you want to, especially if the base forms, because the base forms are like what everyone wants. So.
Right.
But no, I'm probably gonna have to rewatch Ryuki. So.
Yeah, man, we can watch it easier now. And I think that's all the news we have.
That's all the big stuff I can think of. We got a lot of stuff in this last couple of days. So.
Surprisingly, we got a Space Jam trailer. I think they dropped a Black Widow trailer. That Space
Yes,
Jam
because
trailer
that's
was
super
nice,
relevant.
dude. That was nice though.
But did they bring back Lola Bunny?
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
She looks the
Yes,
exact same to
actually.
me. She really does.
Thanks, Warner Brothers.
Yo, I want to see Gandalf just hit somebody with the meanest crossbow and then fade away 3. But Gandalf jumper probably wet, bro. Like,
Thou
splash.
shalt not pass.
He got the Matumbo blocks. Oh.
Let me show you how we slam and jam in Mordor.
Brilliant.
Okay. Alright.
Never knew I needed something so bad.
Alright. Oh, man. I think that's it. Alright, so superhero time. Not gonna talk about the
Yeah,
shows
unfortunately,
themselves.
subs just didn't come out soon enough.
We're just gonna say that.
And also, we had a lot of info this week. So.
Yeah,
Yay.
so new episodes did pop for Dino Fury.
Silver's not here.
Zenkaiser.
So.
Yeah. There's Dino Fury, Zenkaiser,
Saber.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. And there he is. So check them out at your leisure. They pretty nice.
You know, we already had a lot of news. How long have we been going?
About a minute. We've been going for
A little
about
under an
hour.
hour.
Yeah. So there we go. Now the main meat and potatoes of today's discussion.
Yes.
Part 2 of our legacy discussion.
Part 2?
Part
I thought
2.
we were. Alright, I thought we were on like part 3.
Yes. Yeah. Or you're taking the cloak, put the cape on. Here's the mic. Here you go. You are now my successor. Oh,
No.
go on. Oh, part 6
yes, I saw
with
that.
Jolene. It's Legacies. Right. Blaze would have loved this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't watch JoJo personally, but it does look really good.
I'm not a fan. I will say they do animate. They do have decent anime. Wait. Oh, yeah. You're good. No, you're good, bro.
No, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Boruto.
Oh no, my boy. That my boy Naruto.
Sorry.
I mean,
God,
you're
fuck,
not
my throat.
wrong.
Let me get a cough drop real quick. One moment.
Speaking of, that other reason.
There we go.
How about them Belmonts? How about them Belmonts?
Okay.
You say that, but that game was mad okay. It's just unplayable because of it. It's just damn near unplayable because its controls are just absolutely wretched, filthy.
Oh man.
Like if that game had playable control scheme and camera and a million other quality of life things that would have made it halfway decent, it would have been a halfway good game.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
And staircases. Staircases are the worst.
I gave
let's
up
go
on one
stop,
Castlevania just because I couldn't reach the part where I really had to go next because jumping is just so bad. I was like, yeah. No, I'm done.
And you commit so hard with jumps.
Oh, yeah.
It's like if you're not absolutely sure that jump is the right jump, it's the wrong jump.
Playing a little devil's advocate here. That was a lot of games back in the early days.
I mean,
of
Mega
gaming.
Man has that, but Mega Man winds up becoming very tight later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it does not.
No, it does. You are correct. Granted, this is not saying, oh, we don't like Castlevania. No.
We very much adore Castlevania here.
we lost a couple people. I just noticed they're like, oh, not my Castlevania. Yeah.
I need a refreshment. I need a swim, I guess. So.
Hey man, don't worry.
See,
Oh,
it's that I really like that game because it has so many brilliant ideas that become so well fleshed out in games like 20 years later. Like it's like this starting archetype for absolute brilliance, but it like half of that game just is that game without explicit instructions on where you need to be going is absurdly hard to play.
I will be right back.
Even when you know what to do, that game is just like, I'm going to thrash you. You are going to have a very bad time. Yeah. Which is a staple in the Metroid series. Very, very much a staple in Metroid. Mm-hmm. Though it's usually not as significant there, but it's still like it factors in. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like I think it's really that example of this is a game that is filled with brilliant ideas, but doesn't execute them especially well. But because it's so visionary, it's worth at least trying out and at least being aware of. There's a bunch of stuff on the Dreamcast that's kind of like that. Where like the Dreamcast itself is like that. The Dreamcast is like this console
it was ahead of its time, I think.
That should have come out that came out. Somebody pulled from a time machine 10 years earlier and brought it back 10 years earlier. It's just like how did this come to be? How did they think this was a good idea and then actually do it? That's not to say it wasn't a good idea. It was a brilliant idea, but nobody was ready. Nobody was ready for the Dreamcast.
Right.
The Dreamcast wasn't ready for the Dreamcast.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say.
It really does.
Mm-hmm. Right.
No, this is fine.
Really,
Sega's Legacy.
Yeah.
It's all good. Right. That's it. Wow, really?
The Dreamcast was before my time, so. Oh, wait, when was the Dreamcast? Like
2000?
Late 90s, early aughts.
Okay.
Okay, so that was slightly before my PS2s. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Years and change.
That's the killer or Exceeder, whatever you want to call it. That's what decides if a game console is good as a library. Let's be real.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
You can have all the excellent games in the world, but if you don't have an I've got to get away from that. Oh my god. Like, look at the Wii U. The Wii U has some absolutely killer titles. Wonderful 101 and
Okay, that's true.
and Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is seriously phenomenal. But that console's a dumpster fire. Like, that console did nothing right. And it had no games. It had no games except for a couple really good ones. And, you know, a couple first-party titles which were kind of rehashes.
Was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Except for the Xenoblade Chronicles and Wonderful 101 never would have made it to the Switch if Platinum hadn't been like, yo, can we please? And Nintendo's like,
they started a Kickstarter, and it immediately.
Nintendo's like, we lose absolutely nothing for doing this. Why would we? Why would we? It's like there's nothing to be gained
And now
from
you can
that
play
game.
it on.
It's a failure.
Now you can play it on every other console.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that Wonderful 101.
Huzzah! Now Platinum, there was another.
It is a
Tokyo
weird
Break.
game.
Oh yeah.
Wonderful 101 is really good.
It's a weird game, but it's very good.
Yes. Now, Platinum, you do have another Toku-based video game franchise. It's not dealing with Nintendo though, but you know.
Henshin
Come
Go-Go,
on,
baby.
please. Exactly.
I would cause violence for another Beautiful Joe.
Yeah.
I would cause.
Yes.
I would inflict physical harm on another human being if I knew for a fact
Bro.
that they would survive.
Yes.
Talk
It is
to him,
legacy,
talk to him,
actually.
Mario. Talk to him. Let's go.
So Captain Blue.
Yeah, man. Henshin Go-Go, baby. Henshin Go-Go. Becomes, yeah.
Like Gokai Silver.
Yeah, he becomes the hero, you know? Was he a fan? I can't remember. He was a fan of this stuff, right?
Beautiful Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got it. He was watching a movie when it happened.
Okay,
So-
I just wanted to make sure. Because, like, I was thinking of, you brought up Gokai Silver, and he's like, he's a fan of the Sentai heroes, and then he got to become one. He got to be a part of the legacy that he likes so much.
I mean, he went to the theater, so he went to see the movie. I assume he's a fan.
Alright. Alright,
Yet another of those featuring Dante games as well. Inadvertently, but very much deliberately.
Platinum's like, featuring Bayonetta, though. So she's in Wonderful.
Wonderful 101.
Yep. I wonder if she'll be in
And,
the, yeah.
Yeah,
She's a secret unlockable. You gotta do a bunch of stuff to get her.
Same with,
Like-
or input a code.
same with,
Or that.
I think
What
what's his name? Hideki Kamiya? I think that's his name.
The director, yes, he
is.
He's also
He is a wonder director.
which is yeah.
She's also in Anarchy Reigns.
Right.
And is pretty good, too.
I've seen players. He was Mecha Monday, right? He's right there.
Yep. Because I had nowhere else to put it, and I wanted to really bring the game out again. So I was like...
Or have
let's
you
do
played
it on
Anarchy
Mecha
Reigns?
Yep.
or Mad World, or... I think we lost it.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The black and white with red blood everywhere.
Oh hey, Alchemy.
What's up, Alchemy? just discussing
We're
legacies.
talking about, yeah, legacy stuff.
Well, there's a lot of red too. Oh, really? Clearly, I need to replay it.
Right.
I remember enjoying it as kind of like a Power Stone game because I love Power Stone. Yeah, it's not a one-to-one.
Sorry about that.
all the tones.
Okay.
All the slightly tan brown, whatever. Alright, anyway, I won't dwell on it. I figured since Alchemy just joined. Alchemy, you saw all the news that happened this week, right? I'm not gonna ask your opinions. All the writer stuff.
Yeah.
Writer stuff, and anything else you can think of. Just, what are your opinions? What are you most excited for? Whatnot? I'm not gonna run through everything.
Yeah. Yes.
It's all posted on this video. Oh. Beyond that, like the stuff we got like yesterday.
Yeah, the announcements and stuff.
With like 01 is getting a physical licensed
Yeah.
DVD release or something in the United States.
Tokusatsu is doing 01 and yeah.
Yeah.
Tokusatsu is doing 01 Ryuki. We're getting an anime for double.
Yep.
Black's getting a new show. Shin Kamen Rider's coming.
Yep.
There's a bunch of stuff. Look in there. Get hyped.
Yeah,
that also happened. Gem and Fowler are having a crossover. I'm actually really excited.
Alright.
Hey, into the party. Let's go.
Alright, so moving right along. So Ari, what else do you have in terms of legacies? Okay. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. What up, Cole?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this syncs up really well with the legacy discussion. I agree.
Yeah.
So this used to be a very common thing in Western comics. DC did this all the time. It's one of the reasons we had to have Crisis on Infinite Earths in the first place, because you had several of a given hero running around different iterations. So somebody would say, "I'm just going to hang up the hat," and somebody else is like, "Remember that guy? I want to do that." So a good example, there was this guy, and it was like in the back of one of the comics I have. I have to dig through my comic collection, and it's an older one, and it was a sort of a mini series they did on whatever happened to so and so, because they'd start using a different iteration of this character, different costume or whatever, it's sometimes a different character entirely who's just using the name.
Are we talking
And
Scott
so-
Allen, Green Lantern?
That is an example, yes.
Okay.
This was a different character. Someone I can't even remember the name of the hero offhand. But one of their gimmicks was they would like rollerblade on high tension wires.
What the heck?
I don't remember why. I don't remember why because I've never seen a comic about this character, as far as I know. So I do not truly know who they are. So it's like, whatever happened to so-and-so, and it's like, at the end of a comic book, it might have been My Superman with the Metal Men, and they fight a bunch of cockroaches. I don't remember if it's that one. We'll have to dig through. Which is so much fun. I'd love to just, like, read that one aloud. It's so goofy.
But did they steal 40 cakes?
No, they did not steal 40 cakes. And they aren't really cockroaches either. They're something else.
Martian?
They just look like cockroaches. Yeah, I don't... It's
I'm
somebody,
doing all
like,
these
putting people in it.
references.
Whatever. In any case, it's like, whatever happened to so-and-so, and basically, this person who tangentially knows the person who happens to be so-and-so finds out that so-and-so was so-and-so, man. And they're like, why aren't you doing this anymore? And they're like, well, because... you know, it's just I don't have enough time in the day or whatever. I can't go around roller skating on high tension wires all day anymore because I've got like a wife and kids or whatever.
Right.
And this person is like this young plucky heroine is like, yeah, but we need that. We need someone like you because otherwise, what will the world do if there isn't a hero who's rollerblading on high tension wires to fight crime and tune into police scanners or whatever they're doing? And so they pick up the mantle. Very literally, they put on the mask. They take the mask, they resize it, they resize the outfit to fit, and then they just take their place. And, you know, that's it doesn't go into, you know, if this person ever met a Justice League member and what that Justice League person thought about why is this a different person now. But this was used to be very common, particularly for DC. Marvel, not so much. They tend to be the same people.
Yeah. But
for like a million years, which has its own complications.
Unless you're Captain Marvel.
No, it's not Night Threat. Tell you guys what, if you show up next week, I'm going to dig through my comic collection and see if I can find it, so I can find out who it was. Their name is probably something like Livewire or something, but it's... or Airwave. Right, I know, but this is like...
this
is from like the 60s or 70s. This is old. This is like older than I am.
Okay.
Right.
No, they are not an electricity-based superhero. They just happen to rollerblade on high-tension wires. I am fairly confident it is not Skate Man.
I don't know why.
Is probably the best Mega Man villain we've never ever had. We need a Skate Man. Why don't we have a Skate Man?
What?
We've had a Top Man. We've had everybody but Skate Man. Yeah, the Robot Masters' side purposes and how they actually behave thematically is always very much at odds. Particularly the farther along you get. Like, I don't really know what purpose Nightman was supposed to serve, other than, like, Coliseum Battler. Or Centaur Man. What is Centaur Man's purpose?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what they probably did though. That would be very in keeping with
Makes
Mega Man
sense.
6.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. They got the giant turkey leg if you can defeat him. Perfection. Heck yeah, get you a... what we call it? I wanted to say mutton, but that's wrong. Oh, man. I'm sorry. Shake. Alright. I'm gonna go with it. Speaking of, like, related to the stories y'all both told, like, There's a hero that comes to mind when it comes to like a mantle as being passed. Tokunerd's Blue Beetle is one. And there's also, I don't know if like people paid attention to this, but you should have after WandaVision, and that's Captain Marvel, and how.
Well, and it seems
Monica Rambeau had that name.
Probably like the best example in Marvel that I can think of Cap of just raw mantle passing.
Yeah,
that has happened more than once.
Yes.
Although that with Captain Marvel, it's gotten really complicated. in the comics, anyway, it got really weird because you had
because
what's
they
his
didn't
face,
really
the
know
guy
what
who
to
was
do
with
Captain Marvel.
The guy who would hang out as like the Hulk's sidekick.
Yeah.
Rick Jones.
Yeah, Rick Jones, and that just got so weird. It was so strange.
Between the. Whoa! Right. Because she was. No, yeah, you're technically right. Because when Ultimate Peter Parker quote unquote died, Miles ended up taking over. And if it wasn't for him meeting 616, which is main universe Peter Parker, he probably would not have felt like he got that mantle pass. And like, he probably wouldn't have felt like, alright, Peter's cool with this. I'm gonna take it and make it my own. I really love how Into the Spider-Verse kind of does Miles' story. Right? They made it so good. Well, Peter's still there. He just takes the mentor role and is like, Miles, I'm going on vacation. Take over. He's like, all right. When I get back, though. Oh right, Venom.
That's another action. Yeah, that's
Agent
a really
Venom.
Good example.
You know about
Venom's a little weird.
That's Legacy, very much Legacy, because they're literally spawned from.
Yeah.
Agent Venom. Yep.
Who's Mania?
Oh, okay. Hobgoblin? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there is one of them. It's like an actual like mutant hell beast or whatever. Yeah.
Huh. That's.
Oh.
That's neat.
Yeah, exactly. The Venom is not just Eddie Brock. Venom is also the symbiote.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, wasn't it like the Venom symbiote itself, when it went to Flash, bonded better with Flash than Eddie? Wasn't that the case?
That is true. So they kind of made it like Flash is like true Venom, or whatever.
It was we were just talking about how the symbiote bonded better with Flash Thompson over Eddie Brock, but Eddie Brock is Venom. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, King in Black? Oh, if there's one new comic book thing that I would recommend is definitely the King in Black story. Do you like it? Oh yeah, yeah. See, awesome. Oh right. The Legacy of Venom's kids. Man, Venom got a lot of kids. Alright, so I want to ask you guys this in terms of Mantles and Legacy.
Still around?
Yeah, Carnage is still around.
Carnage is still around.
Like, Carnage dies and comes back so many times.
Yeah. Because all it takes is like a cell floating around or something.
Yeah. The Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Yeah. He doesn't have the red wig like he did in the Venom movie.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's just Woody.
This is apparently the first time he's heard of that.
The worst part is I could kind of see it, but it's only in the most cynical way possible. Like, I know, it's like, yeah, I could see him as Cletus Cassidy, but it's such a dodgy, like, it's like so reductive of Woody Harrelson, in my opinion. He's so much more than this.
But like, I want to ask you guys, especially for those who've seen.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Especially those who've seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because they're touching on this in terms of mantles. Captain America and the mantle. They passed. There's been a bunch of characters who had his shield and name in the comics. One of them being Bucky Barnes, Sam Wilson, the Punisher, U.S. Agent, John Walker. You know. So, how do you think the show is kind of handling the story of Falcon not necessarily feeling like he's ready to take the mantles, but we do know he's going to get the mantles of Captain America?
Well, we don't actually know that.
Well, alright, fine.
I'm just saying.
Fine.
The show's not over.
Right. I got you, but I want to, like, how do you feel about how they're tackling the story?
I think they're doing a pretty good job so far. I'm liking the show.
What about you? Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Oh, John Walker, yeah. I understand. Yeah. Right. To go on further on that, I'm surprised they even brought in that character who also had the mantle of Captain America, but like the way he's like famous in the comics, he's more famous for the black community, whereas like he's not really known outside of like Steve and a bunch of other African American superheroes in the comics, which is why that character was invited to Black Panther which confused a lot of people. Even Wolverine was like, "Who is that?" It was like Luke Cage was like, "Nah." And Luke Cage is like, "He's kind of like me, dude. He's really important." Like, I'm glad they really brought in that character. Right. Definitely. Sorry, this is just bad. Oops. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree on that. It's like they're organic with it, and like it's the same with like continuity. Like I know it's like kind of weird to bring that up, but like if you have an established continuity, I feel like not necessarily established, but if you know what you're doing with your story and like how it's presented in the continuity, I think you can come up with a good story to like have that legacy be a part of it. Like,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phase 4,
He's supposed to. Yeah,
Phase 4 of Phase 5. Yeah.
So, going on that, what I want them to do in respecting the legacy of the Black Panther character, I know a lot of people won't. Yeah, I don't want like.
Alright, Blaze.
What I really want for them to do, I know this sounds weird. I know like it'll put a lot of people off. I want them to recast. Not right now though.
I'm in that boat. I agree with you, Echo, on that.
Not recast right now, because what they want to do for Black Panther 2, I realize instead of doing that, put that as a show for Disney Plus. To show Wakanda, show how Black Panther as a character has affected a lot in Wakanda to respect the legacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then eventually later on.
I'm gonna let you finish, and then I have a question. Okay,
yeah, but and then like recast in a way that like not just like he just shows up as a whole different person. No, not like that. Just like make it seem like okay, we respect the legacy of T'Challa. Here's someone that we know could pull it off in a way that respects what Chadwick has done.
Yeah, because
for the character.
Here's the main thing that I just want to bring up really fast. Like, we didn't get T'Challa's story. We didn't finish T'Challa's story at all. Right. We've been with Steve for years. We've seen Steve's story front to end, so it makes sense to pass that on now.
Same with Iron Man.
We did not... Same with Iron Man, exactly. But we did not, unfortunately, get that with T'Challa. And so... It would really suck if they just, like, killed him off screen or whatever. Or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want them to respect not only Chadwick's legacy, but the legacy of Black Panther. There's so many more stories to tell with that character. And I'm sorry, go ahead, Ara. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I feel like that'd just be a major cop out.
I mean, it would, but it kind of would be like, okay, now we can tell more to. It's like an easy way out, you know?
Yeah. It's a real easy way out, and that
so
one doesn't sit right with me.
It would hardly be the first time that they ever pulled something like that, where you had an alt universe version of a character who basically takes up the mantle for a while in the quote main universe.
They've even done it in Injustice. Sorry to cut you off, Rick, but like,
no,
piggyback
you're
off
good.
To piggyback off your
But
point,
yeah,
they've done that in Injustice too, where main universe Green Arrow, after the whole events of Injustice 1, he's like, you know what? They kind of need me over there, and so he leaves. I don't know if he tells everybody. I'm not too into the Injustice comics, but he leaves and goes to the Injustice universe and takes over for the Green Arrow there, and he's with Black Canary. He's taking over as like he's doing what he would do as Green Arrow in the main universe, but over there, you know. So he's like, he takes that version of Green Arrow's mantle and just like, I'm already Green Arrow anyway, you know, like that.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Killed. Yeah.
Whether temporarily or...
If there's a time to retcon it, it's now. So I'm just saying.
True. They can pull some multiverse madness, whatever shenanigans. The snap that smiles back.
Alright. Frag, did you still have a question?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering if anyone knew off the top of their heads whether there had actually been a person other than our boy T'Challa who has been the Black Panther, because I can't think of one off the
You
top
mean
of
in
my head.
comics?
In the comics specifically.
Well,
Not that should be a guideline necessarily, but it would at least have the whole precedent thing.
I believe Shuri became Black Panther.
Shuri temporarily took over the role until T'Challa was able to come back to the picture.
And then just the Black Panther is like a traditional like family thing, right? It's like T'Challa was black for T'Challa, even in the comics.
Right. So like, it's just one of those things, man. You know?
It really sucks.
Yeah, I don't want to like kind of like stay on this too much, but like
we shouldn't dwell on it. We've dwelled on it a lot already.
But I do think I agree with what people have been saying before, though, in terms of I think the Falcon and the Winter Soldier could be a very good blueprint for going forward and easing the broader MCU viewer base into the idea of the lack of permanence, that things do change. And because that's something that isn't very easily or very well dealt with in the comics to begin with, but in Marvel anyway, because, other than the whole, it's this year's massive crossover event where we're going to kill off 5 people and then bring them back a year later because
comics.
Exactly, and it's only gotten worse.
Crisis event.
The consequences will never be the same. And it's like everything's exactly the same, but okay.
Yeah, it's hard to get...
Yeah.
Right.
It's...
Yeah,
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
At the end
I
of the
think
day, writers
yeah.
want to tell stories with characters they've known, and if a previous writer like killed them off or something, that's kind of a problem.
Cuff Aunt May.
Yeah.
So,
let's not talk
remember
about
that
one
time?
more day.
Let's not talk about
Let's not remember that time, actually.
Would you rather remember that or the Clone Saga?
Well, the Clone Saga's coming back.
Miles is getting his
They're
own version of the
not.
Clone Saga.
They're not.
Miles Morales
Miles is getting his own Clone
version.
Saga.
Yeah, he's getting his own Clone Saga.
Will they never? The children, will they never learn? Oh my
Apparently not.
god! So
speaking
can
of,
we just remember that during the Clone Saga, our boy the Green Goblin decided it would be a good idea to get into black magic in a big way, and that leads absolutely nowhere.
So,
other than creating misery for generations.
all right, so we'll be back to Legacy. So our,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Fred.
No, please get us off of that one. It's off.
So
Let's move on.
So Aru, in terms of Legacy, like a lot of Japanese superheroes, they don't, from my experience anyway, with like Kamen Rider stuff, it's not necessarily a mantle that gets passed, but the spirit of said hero. Especially with Super Sentai, they have something called Super Sentai Spirit, and that gets passed on
As a
to each
disreference,
team.
one of the latest Zenkaichi stuff.
Correct. Where it's like, it's one of those things where it's like the spirit of the hero, and it's like no matter what team, no matter like the hero, whether they wear the color red to be the leader or not, or whether someone like the White Cocker Ranger, she's basically the leader of her team, or like Jen of Time Force and her Sentai equivalent, as they lead the team, it doesn't matter as long as you have that spirit of the hero.
I'm just sorry. Or Time Force.
Right. So it's like, in terms of that and like the hero spirit and how that lives on, that legacy. What are your thoughts on that? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
MCU 2, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Yeah.
But we got things like Kamen Rider, where like every
really both of them, Kamen Rider and Sentai.
right. That's what makes it, honestly.
That's one of the reasons I personally like fucking love it so much.
Yeah, I feel like it's more
they are
welcoming in that aspect because there's a hero for everyone that still like follows that spirit, whether or not their power sets are the same, whether or not they're directly related or whatnot.
Yeah.
That's why we have like big crossovers like Heisei Generations or that one scene in Mega Max where like Forza and O's meet the legendary 7 riders, and it's like it's a big crazy moment, but at the same time it's like they're all riders in the end, so they're gonna do the right thing, you know.
Like, let's just imagine if I'm just gonna use Marvel as an example because that's my go-to. But just imagine if like Stanley and Jack Kirby, they did like the first Spider-Man story or whatever, and then they were like, okay, we've told Peter Parker's story, and then they moved on to this is a different Spider-Man. He got his powers a different way, but he's still just Spider-Man or whatever.
Right.
And then they told his story, and then we got the next one. Imagine if that had happened. Just imagine that. Like, I don't know. I personally,
the way Spider-Man probably could pull that off.
Well, yes. Toy Spider-Man has Leopard, and nothing can stop him.
Batman Beyond, yup. Because at that point, Speaking of DC and the passing of the mantles, they're kind of doing that, but at the same time they're leaving it open just in case it doesn't, you know. So
just in case it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I think is the bottom dollar.
Yep.
Kamen Rider and Sentai have made their money not just they haven't had to tie it to the specific characters in order to make money. They were able to differentiate early on. But now, like, Batman is Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is Batman.
And there can be, like, some other characters, to piggyback off you, who have the Batman mantle, but they're not Bruce Wayne.
Exactly, yeah. And the good... I'm going to do a counter example as well. That's why Miles Morales is being such a counter to that, and that's why one of the reasons why I think he's so good.
Because it took a while for that to happen, though. Because
that's the thing. It took a long while for that to happen, but Marvel just kept pushing, and now we have 2 Spider-Man.
Yeah, thank goodness Bendis, man. We also have, like... Especially with Into the Spider-Verse doing that extra push for Miles. It's like, they're like, oh yeah, Miles.
Well, even before Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, but like I feel like that movie...
There's a long train that leads to Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is just the definitive thing, I think, for like the rest of the world, not just the comic books. Yeah, that's where Miles gets out of the comic books and into pop culture.
That's what I was like referring to. How like
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Because at first, people did not like Miles. They thought, they just like, I was one of those people. I'm just like, whoa, wait, what y'all do to Peter? Huh? Then it's like, oh wait, Peter died. And then it's just like, after a while, it was just kind of like, kind of rocky. But then we got that definitive story.
Does anyone want to invite Captain Alchemy to the
I'm going to try. Okay, you got it.
Yeah, my bad, Alchemy.
We can have a...
Oh.
Well, we can do a 2v2 room.
Yes.
I'll have a 2v2 room up in a sec.
No. I have nothing to add because it's comic book, but I just like to listen. But I'm just wondering if, like,
Oh, that's perfectly fine, Blaze.
Yeah.
Your mic was not apparently working, but now it is.
I'm a very normie comic book like reader. I know the basic stuff, but
Yeah,
I
but
still
like,
like just.
You're fine, Blaze.
Same with
No, it is.
When we want
That's
your opinions,
actually-
we'll ask.
It's actually better for your health that way.
I think so too.
It's
I think I enjoy it
particular. Like
easier.
I could have like days that just kind of disappoints me about the modern state of Western comics. It's just like part of it is, you know, rose-tinted goggles. Obviously, it's going to be nostalgia. There's going to be nostalgia getting in the way, but it's also just like the churn. It just feels like such churn now. And to Aru's point, where it's the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's just like you look no further than Blackest Night, for instance, where it's like, oh, let's take the opportunity to kill off absolutely everyone.
Blackest Night.
Except for
It was a Green Lantern story.
Yeah.
Oh
said
yeah,
Batman.
I think I heard about
I'm
it.
so
Isn't
sorry.
It good or something though?
I said Batman. I'm stupid.
Well,
yeah, well,
not,
Batman
the
is
quality
involved.
of the story is not the point here. So,
It's
Frank,
okay.
well, so like you have a whole bunch of people who get killed off and then brought back as zombies. And it's like, oh, you know, the consequences will never be the same, but they absolutely are, because most of the people come back. In Final Crisis, they kill off Batman, except he's not dead. He's sent back to the past, and then they just bring him back again.
Oh, with the Doomsday
And so it's just like
I mean, not Doomsday,
it's just
Darkseid.
dumb. Yeah,
Well,
because
well-
Darkseid hits him with the I-beams.
Well, let's
It's
there's
just
another
disappointing.
mantle in terms of Japanese superheroes that I would like to talk about. And I think I think Frank knows where I'm going with. Oh, have you ever heard of Metal Heroes? Yes.
yes, that's the that is the long lost brother of Super Sentai,
The cousin of like the.
Yeah. So,
the
so-
long lost cousin of
so-
Sentai and Kamen Rider. VR Troopers.
I think
there was VR
Trooper.
Troopers and
So-
one of the
Yeah.
more popular, Big Bad
Space-
Beetleborgs.
Be Bad Beetleborgs, yeah, as well. They use some of the later series.
Yeah.
So something interesting about Metal Heroes.
Okay.
So something interesting about the concept of Metal Heroes is it's unlike, say, Kamen Rider or Super Sentai or Ultraman, where it's like, here's this unified thematic concept. The Metal Heroes never have any of that. The whole Metal Heroes appellation is very much a after-the-fact thing. Like, that was not what they were being called at the time. They were not being called Metal Heroes. They just kind of, after they were mostly done, that became kind of the de facto name, because they had no other way to brand them. And what makes them very interesting is that they're basically Toei just taking the gloves off and being like, let's throw crap at the wall and see what sticks. And then the next season, we're going to throw more crap at the wall and see if that stuff sticks. And we're just going to keep throwing, just doing zany, complete nonsense that winds up being incredibly cool. So they wind up getting away with murder because they're just like, we're going to be doing raw creativity. Just raw creativity every step of the way, because we can, because nobody has any expectations.
You know, you
of
didn't
us.
think creativity could be used as a lethal weapon, but Totally found a way.
They did. I mean, have you seen what they've done?
So more on the point of Metal Heroes, I want to specifically talk about the Space Sheriffs.
Oh shit!
Because Gavin specifically, there has been more than one Gavin, and
Right.
I'll let Frag give a little backstory on that from what he knows.
Yeah,
And,
Frag would probably know the most.
It's. I don't even remember what happened in that movie.
All right, never mind.
I was just saying, like, you know the character, you know both characters.
Well, yeah. I mean, so basically, in a bid to bring back Gavin, they do a crossover with.
The Gokaiger.
It was with Gokaiger, wasn't it? But I thought it was Deca Ranger.
No, it was
Was that the one that
Gokaiger.
came after?
The
That's
second
okay,
second
that's the
Gavin
one
had a
that's
team up with the Deca Rangers. The first one
Right.
was with the
Okay.
Gokaigers, and
I can't
believe-
even remember now. So maybe I'm not the guy.
Okay.
But so up until then, it's been all. Oh no.
He's about to be hit.
Kenji Oba. No, I couldn't remember Kenji Oba's name.
Okay.
I felt really bad about it. I'm sorry, Blaze.
Yes.
Yeah.
お前は何のために戦う？
今でもドキドキしているわ。あんなのもう二度とごめんよ。
Thank you, 90.
They're very, it's, and that's not even getting started on like the quote, on the super deep lore that is like the bird planet.
Wasn't there a new
that they come
Jespeon
from.
and Sharavan as well? Didn't they pass those on to like a new set of people? Or...
Yeah, double monsters and double men. Yep, they're pretty. They're just a way to have like a monster of the week where you can at least reuse part of the costume, and you don't have to be coming up with a new monster of the week every week.
Yeah,
but so they're pretty. I highly recommend Gava. Like seriously, take the time and watch that show.
Jespeon like on? I think it was Jespeon.
Watch Gavon was the refrain of the first episode of the podcast.
That's like one of our.
Yeah, Jespeon was enjoyable. I can say that.
No,
yeah,
Jespeon
does have an official release.
Yes,
therefore you
Jespeon
should watch it.
on Crunchyroll.
It's aesthetically very similar to Space Sheriffs, but thematically, and not that that's a real comparison you can make because those shows do whatever they want whenever they want. But it has a very different pacing. Very different feel. Very good feel.
I'm sorry, what was that? Yes.
Yes, there is a newer Gava. It is a person who is wearing another similar chromey Gavan suit, but it is not Kenji Oba. It is a younger guy who is now picked up the mantle of being Gavan for the Space Sheriffs. Although Kenji Oba will still do it.
Oh yeah, because in the crossover,
because he still has the gizmo. I do not remember the premise anymore.
There's a crossover.
I'm
sorry to cut you off. Right? There's a crossover with Deca Ranger, Space Police Deca Ranger.
Yeah,
but that by the new
Special
guy.
Police Deca
But
Ranger.
no, Special Police Deca Ranger.
Okay, yeah, Special Police Deca Ranger, which is basically what SPD is adapted from. But
yes,
more. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. There's multiple doctors. Right. Oh, okay.
Right.
60s, yep.
Yeah, and it evolved a lot.
Right.
Is it still airing though? I don't.
Yeah, it's still airing.
It is still airing.
Yeah, they have
is
gone
still
on
going.
breaks, but it is still very much continuing. I don't know what they're up to now.
So the plot not finished yet? Oh
Like,
wow.
No,
number-
there's like
It's-
each one's
well, it's
different.
because it's
Are you on the
basically a
15th
serial
chapter?
show. They don't bother with. They're still on her. Okay, cool.
Well, I'm gonna stop you there.
Well,
It's-
hold on, Don. Hold on. I want to
Let
hear what
him
he has to
finish
say.
his point.
Yeah, I want to hear what he has to
All
say.
right.
Because I think I know where he's going with this, and I agree.
Yeah. a fan. Bad play.
Iconic for different reasons.
Right, you don't need to know the first Doctor to understand the 12th Doctor, the 13th Doctor, 16th Doctor, 10th Doctor, 4th Doctor, whatever.
You don't have to.
Right.
You don't need to have seen, Day of the Daleks to understand that the Daleks are really, really bad dudes who say exterminate funny. Like, they're gonna make that clear within the first 30 seconds of that episode. It's gonna happen. So it's like, it's not an issue. And then you're like, oh, hey, so that's not the first time they've encountered, because the Doctor said this is not the first time we've dealt with this. And you know everything you need to know about it, because it's just
All right.
It's been made clear.
I mean, I'm not going to argue any of those points. I am going to bring up a small counterpoint.
Okay.
The main difference between Doctor Who and Note. Doctor Who, at the end of even though, yes, all the Doctors are very different, a lot of the core concepts stay the same between Doctors. The Daleks are still a thing between Doctors. All the enemies do, the Sonic Screwdriver, the TARDIS, all that stays constant in between Doctors. With Writers and Sentais, though, everything fucking changes.
Well,
except for, like, the
I
spirit.
would argue that, the
gimmick,
the core premise actually, like, the gimmicks change, but everything else about it, the core identity of it, never does.
Yeah, that's kind of
yes,
why.
that's what I'm saying. The core identity, but like the TARDIS is still the TARDIS. That's the same TARDIS that the original Doctor had. The
Right,
Daleks are still
but-
the same enemies that have always been there.
Yes,
For
but
like,
Yeah. Like,
it doesn't.
No,
It's
yeah, I totally get what Dunn is saying, though. I totally get it. Like,
I would
But it's not-
I would ultimately argue it's kind of it's more of a question of semantics. It's kind of inconsequential for the end result of the show itself,
yeah.
because
but
they both
I
wind up being
suppose
highly
I'd-
serialized series that, if you take them in their broader context, are just kind of like, let's reinvent the wheel every couple years, every year,
Yeah.
but
with
I'm
breaks
just,
in between.
I'm just
and breaks
saying,
in
like,
play.
Kamen Rider and Sentai have spanned the gamut from like high technology sci-fi all the way to just straight up magic.
Fantasy, yeah.
So
I get you. I get your point. I totally get your point where it's like each one is,
And
there's like
I
a
get the
bigger
more
difference.
important thing there is the like core identity. I get that. It's just
Okay.
I feel like there's just a fundamental difference there between Doctor Who. You can't compare them exactly. That's all.
Well, I don't think we are. I would hope. I think there's similarity in that they are series that are designed to get a viewership basis year in and year out and make money. Like, that's
Go ahead, Ari.
that's
Yeah. No, I totally get it.
I'm just saying, Rider and Sentai make a lot bigger leaps in between. That's
I get you.
I would kind of argue against that. I don't believe they do change all that much, with the exception of
All
the
right.
leap to Kuga, where it's like, let's have a complete change in overall tone and pace. Otherwise, they're really pretty much the same thing, just with different gimmicks attached.
Gundam Legacy. Yeah. Right.
今すぐに俺から離れる。死ぬぞ。当てる。行け。今だ。貴様ら。貴様。ふざさせるか。
Oh. Yeah, the Three Kingdoms version.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Because it kind of boils down to what makes the IP the IP, and Gundam is it's about the mobile suits. With Sentai, it's about a multicolored team. With Doctor Who, it's somebody who goes into a police box and travels through time sometimes, and has a sonic screwdriver a lot. Particularly lately, that's like a very central part of the character now. They always have
where to tie it back to our.
Damn Skippy.
Merchandise.
Where again, to tie this back to our earlier discussion about comics, a lot of the IPs for those superheroes are tied directly to their identities.
Right.
The Peter Parker, Bruce
exactly.
Wayne.
That's exactly where I was going with that. Yep. Yeah.
Like Miguel O'Hara being the 2099 Spider-Man, or Terry McGinnis being Batman Beyond. You know, he's not Bruce Wayne, but he's a fantastic addition to the Batman mythos. Or like how there's like a bunch of different Robins under that mantle. You know. Yeah, that has been.
Definitely true, 100%.
Yeah, because even at one point Dick Grayson became Batman because Batman was temporarily out of the picture. Yeah, Batman. Yeah. The Battle for the Cowl arc.
Okay.
Ah, okay. And like how you kind of like related. Remember when Superman was quote unquote dead, and then it's like, dang, we kind of need Superman, so we brought in Reign of the Superman.
4 or 5 different Supermen.
Yeah,
right.
One of them being Steel. Who I kind of like Steel. Then we have Cyborg Superman. Yeah. Heck yeah.
What I missed so far?
Well, right now we're discussing Legacies and Mantles. You know, we're finishing that discussion up, and we talked about.
Oh, Silver, you joined. I didn't notice you joined. I was somewhere else. Sorry.
Don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable because I might. Sorry, I don't get too comfortable because I might head out a little bit. But I just came here to say one thing.
You talk about the news. You talk about the news.
Oh yeah.
Let's
do it, bro.
I hate to tear you guys away from that. I hate to tear you guys away from that. I really do.
Okay.
Let's finish out this topic real quick. I
understand
you guys are excited.
What you got, Silver?
I understand.
Silver, what you got?
Okay.
You were going to say something else.
Saber. The new one. Durandal?
Durandal? Oh yeah, I saw the Raws.
Okay.
Alright.
Thankfully, he doesn't have complete manipulation over time.
I know you guys are excited. But
we saved the superhero time for next week, so we'll talk about it next week.
Yes.
Okay. Damn it.
Because there was a lot of new stuff that came out this week, and and Echo really wants to go into legacy stuff. So
okay, got it. There's a lot I want to say on it. Damn it.
Silver. Check that. I'm giving y'all gonna have it next week.
For next week.
Y'all gonna have it next week. I promise.
Yes.
I promise.
I'm taking a note.
We're here.
But, taking a note. Just quickly, for Silver or Blaze, I'm not going to go through all the news items. We did that earlier. What are you
Yeah.
most excited for of all the new stuff that dropped this week?
What's
Just
that
to
again?
get your opinions on the podcast. Of all the new stuff that we got, what are you guys excited for?
I think the Gamu Presidential might be one because I'll be honest.
That one for me. That one for me too.
I'll be honest. I'm gonna sound like close mind again, but I don't particularly fond of the whole Shin Kamen Rider and Black Sun. I'm gonna like, okay, I'm either gonna keep comparing them to the original or they're gonna be suck.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
I would love if they keep good. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah,
Plus,
Blaze, I feel you there. I see where you're coming from. So right now on the Shin Kamen Rider and the Black reboot, it's a little bit too early. I have to see before. I need to see a little bit more before I can form an opinion.
Okay.
But with the whole with the whole Gem thing, I'm definitely excited for that.
Okay.
yeah.
I've been wanting
We're
them
teaming
to-
up. It's the time. It's
Yes.
our time.
Yes.
Yes, because I've been waiting. Dunn, I've mentioned this to you so many times. A crossover between X8 and 01. I've been waiting for something like this. I've been waiting for something like that. And they're
It's our
finally
time.
doing it. They're finally doing it. And I don't even care if it's not exactly the way we wanted it to be. It's still an X8 01 crossover. It's still a crossover. I don't care. I want it.
Same thing. I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right
Speaking
there
of
with you.
crossovers. Whatever. We're going back and
Oh wait, just quickly, Silver, what do you think about the double anime? Just quick thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
That was the other big project.
That's second. That's like that and that's top two. That's what I'm excited for. Double anime.
All right, sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, like if they it's like just a full-on dedicated anime, not like how they did not like how they did the 01 anime. Like it was cute. It wasn't really much.
No, it's definitely gonna be a full-on anime.
Yeah, it's not. That,
No,
that
this
was,
is an actual show.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because even Funimation's involved with it.
Okay, if that's the case, I'm fucking hyped for it.
All
Okay,
right.
I need that. I want that because Kamen Rider and anime combined is. I think
It's gonna be a way to like get more people into it.
Yeah.
You know, because there were so many Kamen Rider series that I really want to see become an anime at times. You know, but it's like I don't far fetched. You know? I really think that would look cool. Double and Zero was definitely like the two I really could have seen as animes. I think a little bit of Blade, a tad bit. I think I could have seen that as anime too. But it's a lot. There's plenty of Rider shows I really could have seen in anime.
Yeah,
So speaking of series, speaking of the Kamen Rider series and the crossover, Blaze pretty much brought it up. Like when like we see these heroes come together and stuff, how do you feel like the spirit of said heroes? Like,
What's that again?
how do you feel about like when they talk about the hero spirit, like the Super Sentai spirit and the Kamen Rider spirit and all that? How do you feel like those work out, especially in representing the legacy of Kamen Rider, especially because it's like the 50th anniversary?
Okay, like in my opinion on how both sections like express the spirit of like each one, like Sentai and Kamen Rider. I like I said, I think Sentai does it a little bit best, if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
Because my reasons on why I believe Sentai express that spirit, because I've always said this. I've always felt like Sentai had a more passion than Rider did. You know, Rider, they always had a way of expressing their Kamen Rider. You know, like how we're Kamen Riders and all that. We're strong. But Sentai, they've always had that big ass passion where they do it right, where they do it correctly. You know, like no matter how many years come by, we're always going to have another Sentai, and then that goes for Rider too. You know, but Sentai, they always find a way to make it fun, enjoyable, and they always find a way to make it. They have that passion, they have that touch that they always just keep tapping into, like every single time.
So, like,
especially when we do something eventful.
Yeah. So
you know, like
They know their formula.
Yeah. So like
they're not busy being the shit out of each other.
It's technically
They don't
not
reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, they don't. In terms of like the Super Sentai, like you talked about the Super Sentai spirit, and like they don't necessarily pass on this mantle. Like, here, you take my powers now. It's
right.
Like your team shows the spirit of a Super Sentai. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Even some of the past seasons, like think about in Legend, in like the Strongest Battle, right?
Yeah.
Where they had Yamato and Zero go up against the Animal Sentai, even Gal Rangers. You know, and that interaction between those two.
Dude,
and
that
how
is
Gal
still
Rangers,
that is my favorite fight in all of Super
and that
Sentai.
that was so much respect there, especially when Gal Rangers like, you know what, dude, I applaud you. You got my respect. Like that was nice. That was nice. From a past Sentai to the current Sentai, especially of the same genre of things that they both are, because they're both animal Sentai. So that's pretty sweet. And with Rider, they have that little bit of experience, but not. They don't really show it too much. Where they grab like I would say where they mostly done it for me with Rider was probably the Showa versus Heisei movie. They might have did that, you know, because that's what Showa. The show was gonna show that was like, you know, you Heisei Riders are a little bit too dark for my taste. You know, y'all doing a little bit, whatever. Like sometimes y'all have to learn how to ease up a little. You know, like that's what I like about that. That's kind of what I like about it, where the old ones have to show up and teach the newer writers a few things about what it means to be a writer a little bit too. That's something I kind of like.
So let me move that. Oh, okay, go ahead, Aru.
Well,
I think
Sentai and Rider don't really do it. I think the one time it ever came up.
They want
the one
to
time it ever came
actively
up
avoid
was
that.
Yeah, Showa versus Heisei, and even then it was barely.
It's more like they make their own mantle of anything.
Yes, like it wasn't really. Yeah, like Sentai.
They go well.
I think it could be interesting if they do it right.
Yeah, right. That's the, like
because they don't want to open that can of worms. You have some series where like Lupat, where you've got two conflicting Sentai teams, but ultimately
they both count.
Yeah,
you know what I really thought would have been. Sorry,
they're ultimately working towards the same end goal, as it turns out. So it doesn't really. You have one of the Pato Rangers being like, you're going about this all wrong. You're being thieves. Yeah. But at the same time, they really don't. They don't capitalize on that. Let me put it that's what I mean.
A good point. Where it's like, in talking about Showa versus Heisei, the movie I still brought up. During the battle with the Showa Riders versus the Heisei Riders, and I heard there was like two different endings where like
there is
where like the Showas, if the Showas win, they're like, you guys are still like too green or something like that. But like they kind of give them respect, and then there's the one that I think is like the main one. I think where Ichigo's battling Gaim, and Gaim makes sure to protect that one flower.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, you have this respect for life. I guess you guys are fit to hold the spirit of KamenRider or something like that.
Yeah. What I kind of what to say. What I felt.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
No, I was about to say, like, in terms of like the Heisei part, the way they did that movie, because I felt that the first half of Heisei, like all the way, like starting with Kuga going straight down to Decades, I feel like that half was a little bit more darker. Compared to how the second half went, because Deno seemed a little bit like Deno might have been like the only lighthearted one of the first half, but
Deno was kind of the turning point,
yeah. But when they went to the Neo Heisei, that's where I feel like where they really just took a change, because that's where they started giving us Double. Double was a little bit of a serious writer series, but they also had a little bit of fun and enjoyment in it. That kind of like makes it a little bit lighthearted. And then it just went straight down, like Double, a little bit of O's, Forze. Like they gave us like a lot of lighthearted writer series, which is still cool. But I don't think it was dark or it gave us that same vibe as Heisei Phase 1.
People didn't die.
People didn't die every single episode.
It wasn't like Kuga, where you had like mega deaths occurring in the background.
This is true.
And at
a
least
lot of
one
people
civilian.
Die in Kuga.
Oh my god! It's like the baddies of that series, the Grongi, have like a kill count in the tens of thousands by the end of that show. You don't see most of that on
scientifically
screen.
Calculated. Well,
right. But you can watch.
Like they make a nod to it. They say it. In the series, it's like they've killed like 10,000 people by like episode 40. It's just like, holy shit.
So Aru, I want to pose that question back to you, Aru. How, like in stories you've seen and like games you played, where like the new generation meets the old, and, like how do you feel about those kind of stories? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So we've been talking about like a lot of superhero types of Legacies. We brought up. Hey Brian, thank you. But,
We brought up all big three except for Ultras.
I kind of. It might just be me, but I kind of count Ultra in big top three. Rider, Sentai, and Ultra. I kind of count that much.
That's why I called them the big three.
So
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said except Ultra. Like I thought you kind of something else.
I'm saying that's the one that we didn't talk about.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Yeah, we
We
talked
didn't
about
talk about that
Western.
one yet.
We
That's
talked about
all
the
I'm saying.
Western media
Right.
and like KamenRider and Sentai.
Okay.
But I also wanted to bring up the big daddy of Toku. He's he just got a movie
Moonlight
out.
Mask?
Yes,
Godzilla?
Godzilla.
I like how we had like 5 different answers.
I thought.
I was saying Gamera, but then
Well, no,
Speaking of-
why did you
speaking
get
of
the camera
Godzilla.
there too? Like, is that like how do you think Toho's like understanding of it? Yeah, like in terms of Godzilla's legacy, what would you?
They're going. Okay.
Well, it's not like it's a
So-
different Godzilla. Well, I mean,
Well,
the way-
except
Kinda, it
with
is.
frequency.
Shoei Heisei's
Kinda.
Godzilla.
How do we say this?
And Millennium Era, and then
The way how I
King
felt
Ghidorah,
about
Mothra, Godzilla, then
Godzilla is
Then-
an ideal.
Space Godzilla.
yeah. So
Messy.
Godzilla,
Messy
the one
ideal.
the one unifying concept for Godzilla, the idealized Godzilla,
Yeah.
is basically a parable about, specifically, the perils of nuclear radiation, but just kind of generally the perils of humans meddling where they really shouldn't necessarily. With
Godzilla's a force of nature.
powers beyond their ken. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. Go Godzilla.
Low key, that's kind of it. Small spoiler alert. That's kind of the thing with the Toho. Not I don't say Toho. The MonsterVerse. Godzilla he only reacts to things that are going to change the balance of nature. Where man steps in. Like, not the first. No. This is important. Okay.
So I think you're right, and one of the things I actually like about Godzilla vs. Kong is that's actually a theme present. It is not at all present in the first movie.
Right.
Or in the 2014.
Yeah,
Is
2014
not,
was
it's,
just
it's
a
like
power
my
balance
biggest
shift.
gripe with the film.
Like
My
he just
biggest
went-
gripe with that film is in like the core, one of the biggest core identifiers that this is a Godzilla property is it's going to deal with either an ecological disaster or the fact that we're meddling. We're meddling with powers that maybe we shouldn't be meddling with,
And
it's in no way present. Like you've got it sort of alluded to with the Mutos, and then like kind of ignored.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we could talk about the nuclear devastation that's being wreaked, but we're really not. We're just going to go and blow everything up.
And
So Silver,
with Hoorah
I
Marines.
want to hear your point on that. Silver.
Yeah, I was going to say, like with Godzilla 2014, I really felt like that they focused it a tad bit more on more of the mankind or human side of it than mostly the monsters. They did show us the monsters rampage and whatnot, but that's the thing. That's really what they. That was like the only thing that they gave us in 2014. They didn't really give us like the whole little. Like they tried to put in a little bit of lore with it, but not as much, and that was the gripe I had with that movie.
Yeah,
as well.
I definitely
And,
feel
they
like.
tried to-
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, you're fine. I was just saying, like, I felt like that they really tried to put that effort into the other Godzilla movies, which came out the one before Godzilla vs. Kong.
Oh, King of the Monsters. Yeah, I feel
King of the
like
Monsters.
with those two, there was a more like there's a power balance like going on, and Godzilla has to like get his spot back at the top. Whereas, like the new one kind of definitely focuses on the whole man's kind of stepping too far, and Godzilla's like, I gotta
All right,
put y'all back in your place.
You're doing a little bit too much now. King Ghidorah, he acting up, and that's where Godzilla just Godzilla has to put him in his place.
Right.
You know, and with the whole thing with like man interfering with the balance and whatnot, that was, yeah, I really felt like that.
But then during that movie, they're like, yo, let's set off an oxygen destroyer and just never talk about it. It's like, oh, we just annihilated the entire ecology of the southern Atlantic. Yeah. But we're just going to move on. And I'm like...
Funny enough, that is what beat Godzilla in King of the Monsters. That's kind of what took him down during that fight with Ghidorah. Not Ghidorah, but man interfering in that fight with the oxygen destroyer. That put Godzilla like, alright, I'm tired, I need to rest. Y'all messing me up. Y'all always gotta throw your head in something. But they kind of made up for it by kind of helping him out a little bit at the end. But,
okay. Is it okay for me to mention...
just dropping nukes on his head. That movie was so laissez-faire about weapons of mass destruction, it made me kind of ill. It's just like, you understand that these are like really bad things to be messing with.
Right.
And they don't care.
Go ahead,
Okay, I was about to say, is it too early for me to say something about one thing that really had me laughing when I was watching Godzilla vs. Kong? I really want to say it, but
I guess it depends on what it is.
I want to be cautious.
Was it? I did throw out a spoiler alert, but we could discuss the whole film next week. But
okay, it was basically where Kong was tired out.
Okay.
It was at the end of the movie. He just sat down to take a break. After all the events, he was like. And then Godzilla screams at him, and Kongo's like, what the hell do you want?
I got you.
Do you not see me taking a break? After all the shit we done did? I ain't gonna throw those spoilers out there, but that was basically Kong's reaction there. Like, after what him and Godzilla went through that whole entire movie, especially Kong, because Kong was going through it, he just sitting there taking a big-ass breather. And here comes Godzilla. Kong, what the fuck do you want? I'm tired.
Godzilla is just like, it's a victory war. We must do this at victory. For you to understand.
To be fair,
I thought it was more of I'm asserting that I did in fact win that fight, and you're not gonna try to take that away from me.
I'm asserting my dominance. I need to assert dominance.
I'm gonna be like a cat sitting on your things.
So I'm gonna throw this to you, Ara. What about you? How do you feel about this?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
2014 was very much that.
2014.
Like you could have removed Godzilla from that entirely.
It's terrible. It's terrible how I keep falling asleep twice during.
I have a quick question. Aru underscore H. Are you in this party thing in PS5? If you don't mind me asking. Okay. You okay? I didn't look that deep into it because I have the party like open and everyone is in PS4 logo except you. So I just saw that and I was like, wait. So you can do that then? Because I was curious if you could. Okay, thank you. Because I didn't look that deep into the PS5 yet. You know, in terms of whether or not we can join parties from PlayStation 4 or not. Thank you. You can answer that question for me. That is neat.
Good old Toku.
Oh, big turn. Yeah.
So did this movie? I'm sorry, real quick. So did this movie respect the legacy? Is what I'm gonna ask you. Okay.
Particularly through the lens of Legendary and what they've been doing with it, which is kind of I'm not making a judgment on the Legendary Zilla, the MonsterVerse films. This is not a judgment on them. They are just kind of this definitely not what Godzilla was originally intended to be like and about, but kind of turned into, but the perception you could have if you watched a bunch of those Showa era films like Destroy All Monsters or Godzilla vs. Megalon, and then we're like, I want to make a Hollywood version of that, which is not at all a bad thing. Godzilla vs. Megalon is one of my all-time favorite movies. Godzilla movies, because it is just like, I cannot tell you how many times I watched that film as a child. The VHS tape of that I have is so beat.
Nice.
It is so beat.
All right,
I've watched that so many times.
Like I just wanted to get your opinions on his legacy because, like, you know, the movie just came out, and it's honestly a big inspiration for it. And it gets referenced a lot, especially in terms of like all media, not just Eastern media, not just Western media. Just like Godzilla's a presence, and his legacy is a presence. You know,
he's reached out to so many people in so many different states, cities, and so much. Like even here, and that even goes for fans that's not even fans of Toku.
Especially if they're in a train, like going by on like a high rise. He's gonna reach out and touch you, man.
It's like it's fucking crazy. Like, I even have friends from high school who's not even into all that, but when they saw Godzilla vs. King Kong, and that kind of goes for King Kong too. King Kong became that little bit of a, he gave out that little bit of a presence too. If he was just like, oh yeah, King Kong, he's a beast. So when this movie dropped, everyone was like, who got that money on? All that stuff. They just throwing that all out there.
So what other media can have that effect with like its legacy? What other like characters real quick can just to end that off for? Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right down to the GoPro foot, the under chin GoPro stuff.
There's also like bits and pieces through that movie that kind of reference not only like Godzilla vs. Kong the movie, like the original Godzilla vs. King Kong, but like also other bits and pieces from the Godzilla movies. Like, they kind of make reference to that because like we were talking about the legacy of Godzilla.
They're very much, they did, like, this and King of the Monsters very much felt like love letters to Showa era Godzilla films that these people had watched as children and were like, these were so cool. Whatever happened to those? I feel like Godzilla vs. Kong did a slightly better job in terms of feel for many of the stylistic choices that Aru mentioned. I agree.
Yeah, I've really felt that.
The action sequences definitely felt more coherent for starters, which seems to be a rarity in Hollywood in general.
So we all agree that on that.
Yeah, like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
No. I was just saying, like the action in this film was, I want to say phenomenal. Like, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I cracked up on
there was some parts where I was laughing too.
I was cracking like dude.
We'll definitely review the movie next week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, for me, it was mostly towards Kong because I'm sorry, they made Kong too much of a savage for me in this damn film. Like, I was not expecting all that from this man. I really was not. I knew Kong had the hands, but he was throwing them out. He was throwing. He was throwing all those hands. He's like, these hands are ready to eat for everybody. Godzilla, I'm coming for you next.
Every time you say that, I just imagine whatever character you're saying just has a pile of disembodied hands. They're
Like-
just throwing them. So I'm just
Yeah.
imagining Kong just throwing a bunch of disembodied hands at Godzilla. It's like, what are you doing?
Like I asked you earlier, what do you guys think? Like, what other like franchise and legacies besides Kamen Rider and Sentai? Because we know they have a big influence.
Okay.
Especially looking at like Super Sentai and how it's like, even though that some of the adaptations aren't the greatest,
Yeah.
you can see the influence. So like, what other franchise does that? You know?
Okay, I feel like if done right, I would really want Ultraman to be up there. I really would, because we have gotten so many.
Ultraman is definitely up there. You can't.
Yeah,
I thought he meant like brought over.
No. I mean, like, no. I was just giving examples. Like, there were adaptations of shows from Super Sentai, but you see the references in like other media because the legacy is that impactful.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
It's such an iconic, you know it's visual shorthand, you know exactly what's being discussed.
Yep.
Even if it's in the most general possible terms. You know that if you see a bunch of people wearing different colored outfits, you know there's a good chance that there could be a combining giant robot in the future.
Yeah, you see it in cartoons, you see it in anime.
Oh, does it have to be? Okay, does it have to be something that was that's in Japan, like the Tokusatsu we've been watching? Because
no, it can be anything.
No, it can be anything.
Okay. I will say something like Pacific Rim. You know, if you guys were ever got into those movies.
Yeah.
I'm just glad they never made a crappy sequel. I'm so glad they never made a bad sequel to that.
The same way that TPT ended after 30 episodes, right?
Exactly, you know? I just would have loved them to continue that series. No, the first one is very much Guillermo del Toro's love letter to
I like
giant robots in general, but like a lot of Japanese media that circles around that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but my thing was
I could talk for hours about some of the brilliant shit that movie did in the background, like that are just nods to just absolutely brilliant stuff. Like one of my favorites is the whole, you know how there's the whole dichotomy they have where it's like, oh, some of these run on different kinds of power reactors.
Yeah,
that
like
is
dangerous being nuclear, and some of them will be
100% a nod to Giant Robo the day the Earth stood still. Because it's just like no holds barred. This man saw that OVA series and was like, I'm putting that in my movie.
Yeah,
because that's like exactly the gimmick that gets brought up in that. So in that OVA series, you have something known as the Shizuma Drive, which is like clean, limitless energy that we're able to use for everything. All of a sudden, some villains have come around and they've found a way to make Shizuma drives react very, very poorly in very, very bad and unfortunate ways. So the entire world has converted to using these things. But you've got some baddies using giant robots that are that can turn this stuff off. How do you deal with that? Well, you have a giant robot that's incidentally running on nuclear power, which is very much verboten now in a post-nuclear power world. So it's like absolutely a love letter to that. So it's such a brilliant film. But it's Guillermo del Toro. I expect a certain degree of brilliance. Whether I like the movie or not, it's going to be a good movie.
Isn't he a fan of Tokusatsu?
Absolutely. He's a huge fan.
Yeah, I could have sworn he's like a fan of Ultra because there's one, like, there had to be like this one interview where he actually admitted that like somebody showed up in one of the Ultraman monster outfits and he was like super excited. I could be wrong.
He absolutely is.
That echo?
Okay.
Wow.
One thing I was going to point out. Okay, so the reason why I want to see like a little bit more Pacific Rim other than what we have now, because we got 2 movies and now we got the new anime on Netflix. And here's my thing, because when I first saw Pacific Rim, I was in high school. I was like maybe like 14. I think I was 14 or 15. And the way how it presented itself, like off the bat, they get giving us intel and backstory on how the Jaegers came to be, and the kaijus, it was like very interesting, and it really gave us that sort of information that we needed on how the Jaegers were operated, what made them so different, what made them so special. Even the weapons were freaking amazing. And what I really enjoyed about it were how the co-piloting needed to be drift compatible, and that displays the show of teamwork and ethics that needed to be there in order to have a full-on synergy in the Jaeger piloting. So I really like that. I like the bond, like little bond of partnership that these pilots must have in order to make it work. You know, like I felt they really displayed that in the first movie. You know, like they didn't try to make it like heavily focused on just the pilots themselves. You know, like I thought they balanced it in between. Like they balanced it between what was going on out there. And they didn't fully just try to make it all like, oh, the kaijus they're rampaging again. We gotta stop them. You know, like I thought they really put that little balance.
I feel like kaiju
because it was internally consistent.
Right, and that's what I loved about it.
Things had a reason for existing other than just to exist.
World building.
That's world building. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, what kind of got to me with the sequel?
Honestly, we should probably just make one of these topics for a podcast just world building. Echo, put that in your notes.
Oh, that's already in the notes. I have that set aside.
Okay, good.
For another day.
Now, a few things, like a little things, because I did not hate it. Like I did not hate the sequel, but there was a few gripes that I had with it compared to the first. You know, in terms of how the Jaegers looked in that one compared to the first. You know, because it kind of gave it that little bit of a change, which is not. Okay. It wasn't bad, but it kind of made them feel a little bit off, especially like with Gypsy Avengers.
So what about Pacific Rim? I'll say specific. So what about that? Like, what was the influence? You know, what was that big influence
that got me into watching it?
Yeah, like what was it? Like what was it that you could pinpoint? Like, yo, this feels like it's straight from here, and you know, and you're like, oh man, this definitely feels like a good, like Frag said, a love letter to such and such that respects the legacy. You know what I mean?
Now before I even picked up Gundam or any other like mech fighting system or even Ultraman, Power Rangers definitely in the Zord fights.
Okay,
you know, Power Rangers in the Zord fight, and I feel that would be like a very big comparison in the States.
Gotcha.
You know, because lots of people in the West, they don't know about Gridman and Ultraman and all that stuff. So it's like Pacific Rim. It's like I feel like they would compare it to that and a little bit of Godzilla at the same time,
right?
Because of the kaiju aspect and then with the Jaeger powers. You know, I feel like they would either try to connect that one or try to compare it to either Voltron or Mighty Morphin. You know, and maybe you know, like anything that we have mech-wise that got brought over to the States, I feel that lots of people will try to compare it towards that.
All right, so I want to throw that same exact question to Dunn and Fred, you know, about like what's that one influential thing that's like that you feel like from whatever, like its legacy, you can see it in like other movies and stuff. Heck yeah,
because I've already done it. I've already been a hypocrite twice this stream.
Go for it, Ario.
Let's do it. Yeah, there's a sense of finality, right? You sound like Andre. You sound exactly like Andre.
Whoa.
Teenage Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Right.
It looked Well, to piggyback off your point, you see that stuff in like the 2012 Ninja Turtles and Rise of the TMNT. You see that type of stuff. Like people are like, oh, the art style's like, oh, the art style may not be what you grew up with, but the spirit of the turtles is still there. The turtles are still goofy. They're still fighting.
Yeah.
They're
It's
still...
not in black and white, Echo.
You know, I'm a say
Says
this right
the
now,
old man of the group. All right.
my favorite variation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will always be, I mean, not even the series, like movie-wise. I'm always gonna pick the old, I think it was like 08 TMNT movie.
Oh, right. Oh, I know what you're talking about. The CG one?
I love this film. I am sorry.
I like that film too, real quick.
Like, the new... That scene was just, it was just too hilarious. I was cracking my ass up watching Raphael struggle with damn monsters. But like that really touched a lot of things because it showed definitely like what the Turtles was about. You know, like brotherhood, meaning.
Yep, that'll never change with the Turtles.
You know, and that. Like even until the end, especially, and I feel like one of the deeper moments in that film was definitely the bout between Leonardo and Raphael.
Oh, you know,
where
they're fighting on the rooftop.
Yes, you know, like even at that one speech where he was like, "You're high-headed, cruel, demeaning, and all that stuff." Especially when Leonardo pulled that whole like, "And I'm better than you." And Raphael was like, "Oh, you should not have said that." And then they had that whole ass bout. And they were just going at it, and it was just, like, he was like, "Phew." It's like one of those moments where you hate to see brothers fight. Like, literally, whenever two brothers fight, it's never a pretty sight. So I like how they, like, put that into this. You know,
as someone who has 4 other younger brothers, I can confirm.
I have 2 younger brothers, and, like, the one that's second to me, we used to fight a lot growing up. We used to fight a lot.
Still fighting, man.
Yeah, I think. Or
Street Sharks.
Well, that is what we call a ripoff.
Homage, Dunn. Homage.
100%, yeah. I'm not arguing.
There were
Right.
were mail-in workshops for aspiring comic artists for just that.
Ninja Turtles.
Like biker mice from Mars. It was very much a thing.
Right.
Yeah, like that's kind of like that, like him on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like me and Power Rangers, and how I found like so many ripoffs of that, starting with Tattoo Teenage Alien Fighters, and I was just
listen. That show is worth a second watch. It is not quite as awful as you remember. I promise.
Yeah, I remember every single detail.
Just barely not as awful.
We're getting
I got you.
I actually have to run like 10 minutes ago. Actually.
I honestly
that's why I was like, we're getting close to the end here. So
yeah.
I really would love to keep discussing this with you because this is like a topic we can go on forever. But
yeah,
this is kind of the part 2 of the topic, so we're gonna wind it down here. But if anybody in the chat wants to hear more thoughts about this, we'll just say so. We'll gladly bring it up again. But for right now, you know, we had all the talk about the Ninja Turtles. What other thing like has like a legacy, whether it's kind of rocky or not, you know, that you truly enjoy and hope you can see get it, like you hope the legacy continues on, whether it's like rocky right now, but you just want to see it grow. So
I already mentioned on my side. I already mentioned Power Rangers, but another thing, a series I really think might have been good, but I don't know. You might have to skip me on this one because I might be forgetting already.
So, you had the Turtles on this one, right? All right. Greg, how about you?
Oof. That's a toughie. Because most of the things I like wound up being like either kind of dodgy one-offs or Babylon 5. I would have loved to have more actual Babylon 5 as opposed to the spin-off series we wound up getting.
Alright. What about
I
you?
might have to look into Babylon more.
But
because-
I guess then if I'm going to be more committal in a more traditional sense, then Star Trek.
Okay.
Okay.
Because when you talk about Legacies, that's a whole discussion
Star Trek
related
has a
to
huge legacy.
the most recent iterations and how they are doing.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, they
Not
would not
wrong.
necessarily be nice things. I'm looking at, like, I don't understand, I guess, how Picard could even be in the same universe as Next Generation. It's just so thematically at odds. But we're not talking about that because I'll be talking for
Right.
days.
Alright.
I like,
All right.
So then, what about you?
but Legacy. It's about Legacy.
I guess I'm gonna go with a very weird one.
Okay.
アレックスは使え生きてたら
Something that I feel like since Legacy has affected a lot of media, classic horror. You know, like you got your Draculas, you got your Frankensteins, you got your Wolfman and whatnot. All those
Right.
classic horror things, and unfortunately they're not doing great right now.
But we
Okay.
still.
I was never hopeful for the MonsterVerse. I did not think the MonsterVerse.
But
But I mean,
I-
I mean like classic horror Dracula. You know what I'm saying?
No, that was supposed to be its own thing, I think. Or I don't know if it was called the Monsterverse, but it was supposed to start with the reboot of The Mummy, and then go
Yeah,
with like
the MonsterVerse. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I know
it-
exactly what he's talking
Oh,
about.
so, okay.
But I'm not. But I don't care about that. Screw that. Screw off
Okay.
of that. No,
'Cause
I'm
I was
talking
thinking, I'm
I
sorry,
want to
cut you
get
off.
back to the days to like this classic Dracula, like Bram Stoker's Dracula. You know,
Yeah.
super creepy Drac, Frankenstein as well. Those classic monsters. Because you see their influence everywhere,
Right.
freaking everywhere all the time. You know.
They even met the chipmunks.
That is true.
I love
Yeah,
those
but
movies though. I'm sorry. You know, that was
I
a
didn't
chipmunks,
see-
man.
Oh god.
And a lot of those stories, kind of, they were the first to explore a lot of these themes, you know.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And I see where Dunn's coming from in that, because they've literally, like, I've seen so many variations where they took the horror characters that we all know and they done always try to put them either into something else, or they give us an inspired story, or maybe give
I'm
them
just,
a goofy.
I'm just gonna throw out my personal
cartoon
favorite,
character.
Jekyll and Hyde. I love Jekyll and Hyde to death.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Death and
yeah.
back.
All right.
Did
Blade.
you watch that Stephen Moffat Jekyll and Hyde show?
I have not. I should probably look that up.
I
So-
think it's just called Jekyll, but
So
it
Blaze,
might also be just
about
Hyde.
you.
I
Do
don't
you have an answer? All right, Blaze ain't here. So
I don't really. Shoot, I don't think I have any particular like
Okay.
right now. Not that I can think.
what about you, Alchemy? No, it's anything. So it's like, sky's the limit. Oh,
dude.
this better bot so much. That's my joint.
What's my
Aw. Mhm. Oh right, I saw that. Meta B and yo, did you see that? Freaking Meta B and Roku Show becoming Omnimon? Yo, that was dope. Oh, I seen those. Those look so cool. Mhm. Yeah, I saw that. Oh man, that looks so cool. Okay. I like that answer. Oh man. Alright. So I'm gonna cheat here and throw out 2. Which probably
Alright.
won't. They're kind of on rocky waters right now, especially one of them being my favorite video game franchise of all time, despite the crap that I've been getting for the past few years. Sonic, do better. Do better, please.
Sonic is kind of better.
Sonic and Mega Man, honestly, like.
11 was fine. They just Capcom has to remember that it exists. They have to be actively reminded.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you.
Yeah.
They really
I
don't.
mean, they don't need them though, because you see Mighty Number 9.
Like, so as somebody who actually kind of liked Mighty Number 9,
No, I didn't hate it. I just like.
it's like
It's okay.
Mega Man 11 is what we all wanted, and we got Mega Man 11, and that had no involvement from Inafune.
Exactly.
And it is fine.
Go ahead,
That
Art.
game is fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Sonic Boom cartoon.
And that was one of the.
I hope so.
And that was one of the decent live actions that we've actually gotten in the recent few years. But this is a whole live action is a whole nother concept. I can give you guys.
It's been a while since there's been a Sonic game, right? Just
The last game was Forces, and that was just painfully average.
Yeah.
Painfully
I thought
average.
it was Forces too. I
Like,
wasn't
it
sure
had
that-
okay ideas, but it just, like,
They
as a
played
game,
it
it was
too
kind of like,
safe,
yeah.
and that was
Like-
the problem.
And I don't know, this might have been always been like just me, but like my preferred games of Sonic was always like, or at least my favorite 3 at the moment, or at the time, was like Sonic and the Secret Rings. I love the storyline, music, and
I'm
the
with
game
you
wasn't
there.
bad.
I'm with you
I
there.
love-
Sonic
I
series
loved
has
it.
always had great music. That's
You know,
I
they
love.
no, that's for a fact. But I love where they went with it in the Secret Rings. Though. I love the type of music that they went there with it, and it was awesome. Especially at the very end, like when you beat the game, and he's like, he gives you through like 3 wishes, and those were like, I don't know why he made those wishes like so damn savage. Like, I wish for you to return back to wherever you came from and never return. I was like, damn, Sonic.
like it's like for
It was
Sonic,
no
it's
chill
just,
mode with that guy.
yeah. For Sonic, it's like he's that cool '90s character, but it's like, bro, come on now, look, he's got a legacy, whether it's a good or bad one. He's still doing his thing. Oh,
I have played both 20XX and 30XX, and 30XX is everything I wanted from 20XX, like 10 times over.
How do you feel about how do you feel about
It's-
Gunvolt running that too? Because like I feel like Gunvolt kind of does the kind of.
It's superficially a Mega Man game, and as far as really good boss fights, it's not a Mega Man game because it has really good boss fights.
Right.
To put too fine a point on it, it's like
God, that's
the-
savage.
it's
Ow.
like I'm a diehard Mega Man fan, but like
No,
most
keep
of the
on
boss
keeping on.
fights, most of the boss fights in Mega Man are not
Yeah.
all that thrilling. And the outliers are usually outliers for a bad reason.
And that's why.
Whereas
Mega Man-
Gunvolt, those fights are intense, more intense than a circus. They're
That's-
crazy.
that's-
But it really doesn't play much like a Mega Man game unless you're playing Copen. And then you kind of have to get around the fact that you're playing as an anti-android, like, turbo racist, and that's kind of hard. Because he plays so well, but he's such an awful human being. Admittedly, he has a very good reason for being the way he is, but I don't believe that comparisons between Mega Man and Gunvolt are fair.
Okay.
For
They might
mostly
look the
because
same.
gameplay-wise, they do not really. They really go for different things. One of them is a score attack game where you want to play as cleanly and efficiently as possible in kind of an arcadey fashion. Whereas Mega Man games, aside from the early ones that actually had a score counter, are much more about jump and shoot.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Platforming. There's actual platforming.
Is it like battle? I need a new battle network, but
no, but
Right, if I may ask. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I have one for you if you do, though. But continue.
Oh.
All right.
Wait, humans? I'm just messing with you.
So one thing to note about it, though, is it is done with a randomly generated kind of roguelike vibe. Like it'll be the same 8 bosses, but like you'll get to them in random orders. Now, what 30XX is doing is it actually has a mode where you can choose which boss you're gonna fight, and it's more cumulative. It has a separate mode for that. 30XX I also feel has much better presentation because it's for a big starter. It's so fucking pretty, dude. Dude, this game.
Okay, I'm gonna look into this.
Echo, if you get 30XX or 20XX, I'll play either or both of them with you anytime.
All right.
They are so much fun.
Okay, I'm gonna sidestep this real quick. I know how I was gonna be for like a few seconds, but god damn it, you guys! Y'all got so good.
Well, we're pretty much into that
Silver, you can't escape us once you're here.
But if you want, what's the name of that stupid game? If you want a game that's like
Battle Network.
Thank you, Dunn.
No, don't mention it.
I cannot remember its name.
I know what you're talking about. It was an indie game.
I can't help you at that point.
I was gonna ask you, like, and what was your guys' thought on the Mega Man Zero Game Boy?
Well, Blaze, that's a discussion for a whole nother time. So
because I need to leave like 20 minutes ago.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah, so shut up, Blaze.
Blaze, I'm not leaving until I tell you that you need to tune into my stream tomorrow, Blaze. I start at noon Eastern Standard Time, Blaze. I'm doing this one for you, and I'm playing Godzilla on the PS4, Blaze.
I'm paying attention to this one. Okay, so that being said, Sonic, things are looking up. This is your anniversary year. I ain't forget.
They can do it.
You can do it. 30 years, man. 30 years.
They were able to allow something like Sonic Mania to happen. They can make a good game. I know they're capable. I know that Sonic Mania is its own can of worms,
I think that's probably the best way to phrase that. They allowed it to happen. Yeah.
Sega doesn't, honestly. Sega's like, hey, fans, do what y'all want. We love to see it.
They are much kinder about that than Nintendo and, say, Square
than a lot of other companies.
Yeah. Okay. Like, even, I'm singling out some Japanese companies, but it's hardly exclusive to them.
Alright. Great, guys. This is a great conversation. Like I said,
it was awesome.
Like I said, if you guys in the chat want to hear us talk more about Legacies, I'll gladly make that another topic for another time. We're kind of out of time right now, so
we've been going for like 3 hours.
So I want to say thanks everybody for tuning in for episode 57 of Riders of the Grid. Where we talked about Legacies. Thank you, Ari.
Yeah.
So before we leave, Ari, my boy, plug yourself one more time. Where can we find you?
Gang. Cool.
Thank you for taking time out of your stream schedule to team up with us one more time. Dude,
that's what we're here for.
We gotta get you on the show again, but like, we gotta get you on the show.
Sorry,
Take your time,
Echo.
my dude. Take your
time.
Right,
we need to do things together.
Echo,
I don't care what. If it's 20XX, that's fine. Let's do it. Let's go.
Let it happen. So,
Echo, you kind of sound like Nick Cannon when you said that. I think about to get you on the show.
Don't hit me up with the Nick Cannon, man. I gotta go. Now I gotta go cry in the car like it's like it's
You set the line.
No,
You set the line. I think it's about time we get you on the
we
show.
gotta get Ari back, man, because Ari's like a great guest. Like his episodes are just really fun.
Yeah, he's cool.
Great guy.
That's good to hear.
Hey man, we
course,
glad
man.
you support. We gotta push the love forward. So we're gonna see Ari next. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in, bro. Thanks for joining us. You too.
Thanks, man. You too.
Not a problem.
Good night.
Night, guys.
Have fun on the stream. All right.
Oh yeah, and guys, I did a thing.
You
We'll
did a
get to that thing later.
TikTok.
Oh, he
I'm on
did
TikTok.
TikTok.
you did a TikTok?
I'm actually linking up with the Rider and Sentai fans of the community on TikTok, and it's pretty fucking fun.
Dude,
Oh, that's cool.
I've been trying to do that the same thing, but I don't know what my first video is gonna be. I might just take my YouTube videos, which were random, my random thought series, and put them on TikTok. I don't know.
I would say, just like literally, when you get your bio set up, just type in like 2 things that you love and enjoy, and whenever you like post a video. And my first video was actually a cosplay video. It was a duet about who did you first cosplay as, and then I did that. Got a few likes.
Captain Harlock.
Was it with that dude who cosplayed as Terry?
Can't do Halloween costumes count?
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know. If that's the
Hurricane
case,
Red.
Did you take it to a convention, or was
No.
there a group of more than like 3 people? That's a convention.
Yes, actually. I told the story before, but I somehow convinced my entire family to go as ninjas.
Halloween costumes can count.
So
Totally.
Are you
I
serious?
cannot believe you did that. That
Okay,
is so
I
cool.
did that.
Okay.
Thank you, Ari.
That's
All right, guys.
awesome.
All right, guys.
How
All right,
did you-
guys.
Back
That
when
is
I was
so
like
cool.
4th grade, but yeah.
I'm sorry. Yo, Ari. They totally
Oh,
can't
no.
count.
He's gone. He
No,
left.
he popped
He's
up in
out.
chat. He popped up in chat. He popped up in chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see it.
All right. So,
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Talking
I
about the
don't know
Shonen
where to
Legacy.
go.
The Shonen Legacy and the same tropes.
We
they
can
have in,
talk.
like, every
We can talk about
series.
that next time.
That's a whole nother thing.
Old anime forever. All I got.
We have a lot of our legacy stuff.
We
to talk
got
about.
a lot. But thanks again for tuning in, guys. We'll catch y'all later. And tune in to Aru. We about to stream Mecha Monday. Brag. We're gonna bring you some greatness. Then after that, later in the day, we have Mobile Suit Monday. And starting Tuesday, because Clank wanted me to make the announcement. Tekken Tuesdays, y'all. Tekken Tuesdays. Brought to you by Clank. Tekken Tuesdays.
Yay!
Shout out to Clank, even though he's not here. Shout out to Clank.
Man, I hope I don't have to get a copy of Tekken.
Nah, you don't.
Is that
You don't.
cross-platform? I'm
PC, with
trash
PC and
at Tekken.
PlayStation? I think so, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that was cross-platform or not. I already got it. I'm good.
So,
I'm ready.
we'll catch y'all, man. Thanks again.
Good night.
Sleep
Night.
tight.
Echoes Agenda.
Not yet.
Night night.
Not even now.